stream starts today, hello YouTube. Before the stream starts today, we are just gonna learn a little bit about Node-RED so that I can get these Twitch ad breaks handled. And then at some point soon, I need to look at installing some kind of an NPM YouTube thing that allows me to have YouTube chat go into my regular interactive flows so that YouTube is not completely neglected. It's just YouTube's API is a little bit different than Twitch. We're already hooked up with Twitch. Twitch is easy to do, kind of. Node-RED makes this stuff pretty trivial, and it's really fun because if I, on a whim, decide to give you guys like the ability to press a button, like to turn on my milling machine when I don't want it on and it'll like mortally injure me, I can actually hook something up to a relay that just gets on MQTT, and then boom, we hit that weekend bother. It's Friday. It's Friday. Today's Friday. Today's Friday, unless you're far in the far-flung future. Oh, there's YouTube. Okay, cool. We got YouTube chat up. Sweet. I was loving people are confused about what day it is. Today's a holiday. Is it a holiday in America? It's tomorrow. It's July 4th. Tomorrow's what, like 250th birthday or some shit like that. Not feeling very patriotic, let me be honest. Node-RED has a property called message ID. This is an identifier for the message. So messages have a payload property. This is the default property that most nodes will work with. Node-RED also has a message ID, so that just has a little stuff in it. The value of a property can be any JavaScript. The structure of a message. The easiest way to understand the structure of a message is to pass it to a debug node. That's exactly what we did. By default, the debug node will display the message.payload property, but can be configured to display any property on the whole message. So message.payload, and we don't have it displaying message.delay, even though we made that. So we're not going to be able to see that. Amazonian Walrus is on a 3-stream streak. Hell yeah. Today's a holiday. July 4th is being observed today. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Well, happy holiday. So next to the property name is the type of property. Object, string, array, etc. Object. Address? Phone. Object, object, object. It then shows the contents of the property. For arrays and objects, the property is collapsed into a single line by clicking on it. When you hover over any element, oh, that's right, I can actually, I can do it this way. I can reference that by right-clicking it. So if I go to this, copy path, paste. I was right. Message.payload.rawEvent.duration seconds. Done. Now, we're not showing message delay. I thought that because of the way this timer works, it said override delay with message.delay. So that is above payload, because we're not showing anything other than, we're not showing the full thing. And I guess I can set my debug to do that. Or there's some other like view that I can use to do that, I think. Yeah, see, this is just message.payload. Complete message object. Let's try that. And now when we do an ad break, it's possible that variable timing is set. We'll have to see. I think that does it though. Oh, good work. Thank you for the link. I really appreciate you linking me to google.com for the very basic lesson in using Node-RED, because it reminded me that I can actually get the path of anything that I see in the debugger by right-clicking. Oh, Walrus is lurking, huh? Well, let me call you out specifically for... Okay, I won't do that. I won't do that. Or maybe... No, I won't do it. Man, it's a boring day on Twitch. There's not a lot of people doing anything. I watched a little bit of Sips playing... what was it? Mecha Chameleon. And, oh man, it's really funny to watch somebody like Sips play Mecha Chameleon, because he's like a building game kind of person, right? He does like Hoi 4 and like more cerebral, calm, chill games. And Mecha Chameleon puts you under a lot of pressure to hide. And you got to really just like double down on what you're doing. You go, oh, this place looks really stupid. I'm going to go here. I'm going to stay here. And he can't do that. So he was moving around like when the round was starting and stuff. Oh, It was kind of hilarious. I love Sips. He's a good streamer for the early morning when I'm peeling my eyelids open. There's like only a couple. It's like Dodger and Sips and sometimes TechSmith are on early enough that I catch a little bit of those streams when I'm still waking up after walking the dog and all that stuff. I should wake up better, but today's rough. A bunch of the neighbors, we ran into each other during the morning walk, and we were all just sweaty messes. It was awful. The dogs did not appreciate it. Basically, you have like a time limit on the dog until all the air conditioning leaves the sort of like second coat of fur, and then the dogs are just completely out of it. Let's take a look at this thing that I bought. I think this is really cool, and we may be able to actually use it on something. I'm not sure though. I mean, with the way that all my friends break their synthesizer stuff on the regular, there's a pretty strong chance that I'll be able to use these at some point. But there she is. That's probably what she's doing right now. She was sleeping under my desk, but I moved. I came over here and sat down. This kind of looks like the inverse of what I wanted. But this is supposed to be a trace repair kit. These things have popped up on like Amazon and stuff lately. Welding is not the term. I would not have said welding. Yeah, ultra thin experience. I've been there before. Yeah. Fixed pin-off pad. Okay. Enhanced fixed pin. The pads are reinforced with fixed pins and will never fall off. Ultra thin experience. It adopts industrial grade printed circuit board copper foil with a thickness of 30 micrometers. Geez, okay. Good flatness. Yeah, that sounds about right. Good flatness, which can prevent pseudo-soldering, effectively caused by unevenness. I don't mind unevenness. The connection joint with the circuit is firm and can be fixed with green oil. Fixed and can fixed the green oil. Well, green oil? It's epoxy. It's like an epoxy. Hey, what's up, Blonde Dog? I'm on sensor number 2, a guest day of 18, being part of the Borg. Sensor number 2, huh? Mine expires at 10 o'clock, I think, tonight. So I've got monitoring until then. This morning, I bashed my arm on something without knowing it, and my glucose level would not go down because the cannula tube of my pump was out. Although I don't think it was completely out because I couldn't smell insulin. Usually you smell that, whatever it's called, the phenolic. Well, hold on, I gotta go back to the conversation where I was told what it was a minute ago. Phenolic, yeah, it's the stuff that makes Band-Aids smell like Band-Aids. That's in insulin. It's so you know if there's insulin in the open atmosphere. Stable welding. All right, so let's see what these things are. Fent. No, not Fent. That'd be insulin. Insuline. Oh, these are smaller than I thought they would be. These are for repairing helitraces. These are nuts. What would I do with it? Holy shit. Yeah, that's way too small. I was hoping for something like normal size. All the ones that I've gotten so far of this repair stuff have been for absolutely microscopic traces, whereas I'm looking for something like this. I mean, these are close to this size, but like I'm talking like these over here. I'm more about that than I am whatever the heck those things. I guess these are for repairing like professional electronics. Because I don't even know how I'd operate with this. Let me grab one and see what happens. These are good for repairing like lifted pads on USB and stuff like that. Yes, I have insulin emotes. Welcome to a type 1 diabetic stream, where the emotes are insulin and other stuff. Incidents like that can make you start guessing about things. I'm just glad I caught it early enough that I didn't go DKA. I think I was close to going DKA. I had a pretty bad headache afterwards. It's a tough thing. I mean, you got to know the signs, but you know the same thing with the sensor. You gotta know what is what. But you don't know what is what. You just strut. I can't lift it. What do they mean adhesion is good? I can't lift it at all. Do I need to like lift this? Oh. Is there another layer to this? Or maybe, is it underneath? No, I don't feel that. DKA, I know what that is. Wait, what do you think you know it is? Wait, I'm talking about diabetic ketoacidosis. Quite familiar sensation of your blood turning into acid and your kidneys suddenly hurting. Yeah, you do know? Yeah, it's a rough thing. It's rough. I don't wish it on my worst enemy. I don't think I have a worst enemy. It's just me. Anyway, I don't wish it on my worst enemy. What's going on with this? How do I use this? Oh, my. I think I peeled one of the layers. Yeah, I especially don't wish it on myself, so assuming that I'm my own worst enemy. Actually, didn't need insulin for last night's dinner? Now that's unusual and bizarre. That's interesting. Is your pancreas potentially still honeymooning with little bits of insulin? This is torture. I can't get these far. I wasted $10 on this thing. I can't even use it. I watched the glucose levels readings for several hours and stayed at 75. Holy shit. Yeah, there's what's called the honeymoon period. It's when you first get diabetes and beyond, where you suddenly have the ability to just like eat whatever you want. You can have like a cupcake and nothing happens. And that's because your beta cells are still getting alpha'd. Your beta cells are still getting killed off by your immune system, and they're struggling to create little bits of insulin. Something that happens with type 1 diabetes. Took the special test that determines how much insulin your body produces. Oh, there is one. I should try one. I'm about 20 to 30% from my own production. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, maybe you just lowered your intake enough to, I don't know. Or you exercised a lot, or the heat is affecting you. Funny. I can't get a grip. I don't know if I need to like cut this and then get under it. Yeah, I've had phenomena where you know I haven't needed insulin, and I think it's like my body is like rallying or something. It's like, we're gonna make insulin. That's what I was gonna try next, is just cutting it with a knife and seeing if I can get into the layers, because it might be that the adhesive bonded out here. So if I give it a cut, maybe I can get into the layers now. Never worked with this, so I don't know what to expect. I'm about to rage quit. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I gotta look it up. Maybe I gotta look up somebody using this stuff. Maybe they'll have advice, tips, tricks, techniques. Diners, drive-ins, dives, dungeons, dragons, demons. Depression. It's not necessarily makes no insulin. It's just doesn't. It really, generally, it's the immune system attacking the beta. I keep saying it like those stupid, like, weird manfluencers that are like totally weirdos. It's just funny that they always are obsessed with the alpha and beta when both of those are not production ready. Anyway, the point is the beta cells and the islets of Lagrange in the pancreas aren't producing insulin. That's type 1. Type 2 are not producing enough insulin. So there's a lot of factors that get in there, and there's always corner cases that prove and disprove things. And there's like a type 3 diabetes. I don't even know what that is. For me, I don't produce insulin. Maybe, but there's definitely not enough insulin, and I need enough insulin that it's significant. So it's definitely type 1. Why did I get type 1? I don't know. Maybe I ate like a gum wrapper and it lodged into my pancreas somehow. Or maybe I got like a bad cold or a virus of some kind, probably from Iron Pariah, because Iron Pariah remembers around that time getting a really, really bad cold. But at the same time, it might have just been puberty making my immune system go gung-ho and decide to attack this particular part of my body. It's crazy. When did I get type 1? When I was 9 years old, when, you know, puberty just started, and the rest is stupid. Is type 1 not genetic? Sometimes, yeah, it can be genetic, but it can also not be genetic. There's a lot of weirdness around diabetes because people think of type 1 and type 2, but those are two completely different things with the same symptom, right? Yeah, it's autoimmune diabetes. Yep. I've heard definitions for the body produces insulin, but it's no good. The body just doesn't listen to the insulin. That's crazy. And others say the insulin gets attacked by your own immune system. It's not really the, well, from my understanding, and my understanding is years old at this point, right? There's probably immunologists and doctors that know more. And it's interesting, the anti-science people thinking that just because a doctor says something, it's not true. It's like, dude, you know that they keep up with their education and they keep going back to stay up with their education. I have old information. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about a lot of stuff. But anyway, my understanding is that the immune system is attacking the specific cells that produce the insulin. That's my understanding. And I don't know if that's necessarily what happened with me, but that's what we assume. All you do medically when you get diabetes, you know, I didn't get like a genetics test. All they said was, well, shit's not working. What if we give you insulin? Okay, insulin is working. Let's stay on that therapy. That's it. That's all they do. They don't go in and test your genes and go, yes, this is exactly what happened. I'm a forensic physician. No, they don't give a shit. They just want to keep you going. They just do the bare minimum to keep you going. It's not that comprehensive of a diagnosis, which is why now that we've got a much better understanding and ability to get genetics from people, all kinds of nasty genetics, we can now, at least the Chinese supposedly have taken that extra step of doing the forensic part and figuring out, oh, this is what happened. We can give you a cold that's going to inject your genes with something that'll stop this shit from happening. And then, oh, look, we've injected you with, I don't know, stem cells and made islets of Larange again. And now your immune system won't attack them because we know what mechanism was behind that. That could be totally different for me, right? It may be exactly what happened. But again, diabetes is like 10 different things in a trench coat. Peeing sugary blood. Guess that's accurate. Human zygote modification. Oh, neat. Gene-edited babies. Awesome. When are the replicants coming after me? More human than human. And it's also why I can't just fly to China today and cure my diabetes. But it would be nice if those would come along a little bit more. You know, you keep talking about, cure for diabetes is only 5 years away. I have been hearing since 1992. Oh, you're getting diabetes at a really good time, oh bother, because they're going to cure it soon. That was 1992 that they told me that. 1992. They told me that. Yeah, okay. Listen, any news is not news to me. It's not news until I have a vial on my desk that says cure for diabetes. Has to be labeled cure for diabetes, and it has to be a cure for diabetes, and it has to be on my desk, and it has to be labeled, and then I'll believe you. This is where they get into environmental factors, yeah. Won't be that fun, more like a forum where you can customize your baby's height, eye color, intelligence, and like a Sims character. Huh. Make them dumb. I don't think it's gonna be, it's gonna be like Fallout where you have to spend points in certain areas. I want him to be 11 feet tall and dumb. Dumb as a brick. Sorry, sir, you don't have the points. Ah, damn it. Islet cell transplants have been going on for 20 years to get this far. Yeah. Cure for diabetes, take one daily by injection. I heard there was like a steroid that somebody was testing that didn't have the money for human trials, and they were testing it, and it would basically be a monthly injection, and whatever the hell the steroid did to you, it would keep your immune system from attacking. And I don't know if that would require some kind of like a transplant of islets or what. If they're permadead or if they keep getting deaded by your immune system or what. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know nothing about nothing. I don't try to. All I know is that if somebody tells me that there's a news article that says there's a cure, that means they found a transport mechanism of a cell that's closely related to one piece of thing that is like a leaflet in the pamphlet on how a specific enzyme influences the production of insulin, right? It's like so specific because they're like, hey, can we get funding now? We were in the newspaper. And it's all like the research is not we're going to find a cure. It's we're going to further just little bits of knowledge here and there, and it's not that focused. I don't know if we're going to get anybody having like a eureka moment on a cure. Okra water. I did it. I guess smaller companies are the better avenue. The smaller companies that are doing like medical research, because they have an incentive, but then they get bought out by the big companies, and then their research is just like gone. But again, that's kind of conspiratorial, because you know, who wouldn't want to cure diabetes, right? So made one cell in a petri dish produce insulin funding. No, we've already done that. We are well beyond that, actually. Well beyond that. We have made yeast. Instead of brewing beer, it brews insulin, sort of. So we've made all kinds of designer insulins with that methodology by editing the proteins and the genes and stuff like that. But it's by injecting it into a single cell organism that'll then poop it out and create it. That's the whole bioreactor thing and the whole, yeah. Gone are the days of needing pig pancreases in order to produce insulin. I do a bit of home brewing of my own insulin. Yeah, you know, every now and then. I don't know what happened to my channel locks. My miniature channel locks disappeared. I was looking for them the other day to undo something, and they were not in their normal place. I gotta figure out what the hell I did with it. They're probably on one of the desks, and they're probably in a very obvious spot on the desks. I just have not cleaned up lately because we've been working on a lot of synthesizer stuff. Been working on this medication for the last 20 years. Is highly refined and specifically tailored for this usage. It's to help prevent the islet cells from getting damaged by your immune system. In a simple sense, you're kind of changing one issue for another. You know, where's the no frills diabetes cure? Where's the Star Trek transporter cure for diabetes, where they go zip? Oh, we cured your diabetes while you were being transported. It's just like, oh, cool. All right. Well, I don't know what, you know, when I need these circuit repair things is going to be the time when I really figure out how the hell to get to them. Because whatever's protecting it, I can't get it out. I can't get it off of there. And if I mess this up, I mess up a pretty nice etching and a good chunk of money that I gave Jeff Bezos. But it's got this protective, like blue protective film on both sides, and I can't really blast through it. I don't know what to do. I mean, maybe I can carefully cut and get only one layer cut, but I don't know if I have the skills for that. But anyway, pad strips, yeah, they're like, I guess, adhesive circuit board repair strips. So if I had a trace that ripped up on something really small, these are a lot smaller than I thought they would be. I thought I'd get a little bit larger than this, but I can peel this up, put it onto the PCB, and potentially, like, if you have like a flat cable connector or something that's ripped off, that'll potentially repair it. I mean, I thought it was going to be a lot larger than these. Trace sizes are like Yeah, like, I mean, this would be almost too small to repair one of these. But you can kind of like paste them down and get a trace back in, and then you'd put some UV epoxy on top of it to sort of lock it in. Northwest Repair using those to fix 5090s. I think maybe that's, I probably saw the same thing. I probably saw the same thing and decided to look them up, because this is like the larger version of this. If they made this, but instead it was like a thin one of these, like just Captain Tape with clad in copper, I would be pleased as a peach. I would be so happy, because a lot of circuit boardy stuff, not only just repair, but even just making stuff, I've done with this. And I've tried to use copper tape, but the copper tape is for like stained glass. And as soon as you get it warm, the adhesive that they use makes it like soup. So I want the stuff they use for stained glass, but I want the adhesive that they use on Captain Tape on there. I don't need anything else out of it. I don't want it to be expensive, but it is. Apparently stuff like that is expensive, and the times I've tried to order it, it is literally just the same stuff that they use on stained glass and has absolutely no temperature tolerance at all. So anyway, this is supposed to be something like that. It's very, very thin copper for getting under your IC legs or whatever else have, because we've seen, you know, USB slot rip off and then it tears up the USB tracks. This could potentially repair that, assuming that I could get access to the actual pads. So I'm going to put this up against the wall in this drawer, and hopefully it won't be in too bad of a place. We'll come back to it if we need it. Away it goes. Away it goes. All right, let's start the stream. There was a time like 25 years ago when circuit board trace tape almost disappeared off of the market. Weird. As like one setup had the machines. All right, let's get the music out of here. Music, 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 music. Okay. How's everybody doing? I'm doing okay. We had an 8-hour stream yesterday where we mostly built a module, and then we got to test it at the very end, and it kind of appeared to work. I would like to take that a little further and do some more testing on it, make sure that it does actually do something. And then, yeah, we've got more work to do. I mean, I've got more stuff that needs to get done. We can either start building a module again, which means soldering 10,000 resistors. I don't think anybody wants to sit through another 8 hours of that, so I'm not going to stream that long today. Maybe we can start to make a custom Vactrol. Vactrol is a made-up word. I don't know what the derivation of it is supposed to be, but it is basically two photoresistors that are looking at the same LED. So we need a red diode because a photoresistor is pretty sensitive to the red LED color. So we get a red LED and we get two photodiodes, and we solder the photodiodes together, not photodiodes, photoresistors together. And then, I don't know, we cover it in hot glue, the one the black hot glue, the one that blocks light coming in, or we shrink wrap the end, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. We have the ability to do such things. What's that? We love 8-hour streams. I did pass out yesterday, but not because of content. Oh, I listen, as much as I would love to do more 8-hour streams. Yesterday was awesome. We'll do that again. I mean, we will do that again. But I'm starting later today, so I'm not going to do that much today. We are going to do some cool stuff though. So the first thing that I really want to do is follow up with the module that we built and actually like finish it. And by finish it, I mean, we're going to put labels onto the front panel. The temptation was there to print a new front panel, and I kind of squandered it. I could make, the holes for the knobs a little larger. They're kind of exactly the size of the knobs, but I think we're going to keep that going. What is that? That was a sub that didn't get to my idea thing? Strifebane has subscribed with Prime. Why did that not light up my light? Why did the Prime not do anything? Sub or gift. Subscription failed. Oh, by the way, we are running ads. The next ad is in 11 minutes. I'm trying to troubleshoot some of the Node-RED stuff that I don't know how to do, like accessing certain parts of a message. So I've got this thing running and monitoring it, and then we can try to make this actually indicate to us you know, whether a Twitch ad is running. I want to have like a big pop-up on the screen do that. But a sub or gift, subscribe gift. Oh no, that's sub or gift. So if that was a Prime sub, channel subscription message, maybe we're not grabbing the primes. All right, so if I don't know when there's going to be, once we get the ad message in 11 minutes, I'm going to turn this debug off, because I think we'll finally implement this properly. I'm going to turn this debug off, and then we'll turn the generic debug back on, and I'll be able to see what a Prime sub looks like. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to do, because I maybe we're not, there may be something different than a channel subscription message on a Prime sub, because you can't, I don't think you can put messages with Prime. So I'll have to monitor for that. I'll have to keep an ear out. Broke my 3D printer yesterday. Tried using V6 adapter, nozzle. It leaked, snapped off, nozzle in the hot end. New one's in the mail. Ugh. Ugh. I'm going to 3D print soap. That sounds fascinating. How would you do that? How do you grip soap? You can't grip soap. How do you clean the soap? You can't clean soap. It's soap. Okay, anyway, that's the node stuff that I'm looking at. We've got about 9 minutes until this thing goes off, and then I get to see what the message is and whether or not the light on the desk stays lit for the duration. And if it does, that means I can point it at an OBS object that'll turn on and off when the ads are running. So until then, we need to make a front panel for this module. So let me get the thonks undone. I want the front panel on this thing so that I know what does what. I know what is what, but I don't know what is what. I just strut. Anyway, I want to know what is what. I want to know what does what, so that we can plug external signals into this thing and alter what's coming out of it. We have already tested it. We powered it up. It does not use an excess of current. The components eventually get warm, which is a good sign. If they get just barely warm, eventually, that probably means that they are functioning. And I could take a multimeter to everybody, make sure all of my voltages are right, but I 3D printed a soap mold for my shaving soap. Soap works. Scent I chose isn't great. What's shaving? What? When I did shave, I would just take the bar of soap and foam it up in my hands. And then I used one of those crack addict razors or cocaine addict razors, the German razor, on a safety razor. The first time I used it, I cut my face completely up and then had to go to a job interview that I actually got the job for. But it was, it's like $1 for like 1,000 of these little blades. So that's what I used to use to shave. I don't use it anymore, clearly. Clearly. Okay, so I printed this upside down. I know my top layer looks amazing and I'm perfect in every way, but I printed it upside down because my bed is glass and it is extremely flat and it's got these little dimples, and those little dimples are where the glass is exposed to the print. So those little smooth portions of our brain, those smooth things are actually what holds the print down. The other parts are like a Teflon, so that nothing's sticking to that. What that does with PETG is it sticks extraordinarily well, to the point where if you try to remove your print while it still has a little bit of warmth in it, it will pull up grains of glass, which may be what you're seeing right there. It'll pull up grains of glass, which is really bad, and my print bed is getting old, so that tends to happen a little bit. But this smooth surface is great for vinyl to adhere to. Yeah, I sleep on glass, yeah. And I have a fiberglass pillow. It's very itchy. Okay, so for my front panels on my Eurorack synthesizer, what I do is I put a layer of vinyl on top of the 3D print, and then I will label it using my label maker, and that gives it kind of a camp look in spite of how expensive some of the modules are. They're all handmade. Everything started off as just a blank circuit board. I haven't had anything partially built for me on this synthesizer, but It gives it kind of a uniform look, and it's a little bit better than the 3D print. My 3D printer can't really do text that's that small. I could potentially do some labels on stuff, but I can go really ham with the label maker. So, and I know that those labels last a long time. So that's how we do it. So, a couple of things here in the drawer. I have a sheet of vinyl that's just about the right size. So I'm just going to take that and we will cut a big old portion of that. Oh, and I need the ruler too to bind them. Where's the ruler? That one's not going to do. Oh, maybe it will. This one's actually pretty good. All right, and it cut with a very, very slight angle into the ruler so that your blade kind of follows that edge. I have to put a little bit of pressure down because you can. Yeah, I didn't get all the way through. Oh man, if I can do this, maybe. Nope. I already screwed it up. I already screwed it up, chat. See if I can trace that line again. I guess I did. Yeah, that's rare. Okay, so this will be what I put on here, and then the backing of this will be where I cut the labels from. So I'm going to use the label maker, but the label maker is kind of fiddly to get the backing off of. So I transfer it over to this and put the labels down here. This thing barely holds on to the labels. If I interact with them just a little bit wrong, they'll just fly off of this thing. So I got to be a little bit careful. And sometimes I'll put painter's tape on either side of this to hold it down. Hey, Dutch Mania, how you doing? If I want to be really extra with this, and I do, lay that down, adhesive up. That's off by a little bit, but it's all, I think it's all on. Yeah, got that all on. So I need to press down on it. I bought this, I forget what I bought it for. I bought it for a different project, but it's just a rubber roller for like printing stuff. You can do impressions and whatnot. So I'll just use that on there. Also, when I get all the labels on, I'll use it on that too. So it'll press it down even more. Let's get the front side. Yark. Just to make sure that we got plenty of pressure on there. I mean, I guess if I really wanted to be super extra, I could add heat. But this has been my method for doing these for a while. Let's trace the edge. Do a little 45. Trace the edge, 45. Trace the edge, do a little 45. We're finishing up this module, and then we've got other ones to do. But I think what I want to do is actually do some stuff on the Vactrol, figure out what the hell a Vactrol is, and what it's going to take to build one, because I have the parts. I have thousands of LEDs, and I've got these photodiodes that I just ordered. I think they're the right value. Oh, the ad's about to start. Here we go. All right, so we got to capture this, whatever the hell this packet is that I've created, and see if it actually works in my system down here. Ad starts in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, hopefully we see a delay of about 180 seconds or whatever Twitch is going to assign the ad length to. I despise having to run ads, but I don't want to have pre-rolls. So without pre-rolls, people can click and watch the channel immediately. I don't really mind pre-rolls, but yeah. So we're going to be talking about the Node-RED stuff while the ad is playing. I'll be just looking at this packet, and that's all that's going to happen. I'm not going to work on this until you guys are back from an ad, those of you that can't help but have ads. Ads coming, wish you luck. It's like, yeah, my ass won't be here. I'm leaving. We'll lose like 50 viewers. Happy America Eve. We're almost there. We're on the precipice. I guess some people are counting today as a holiday, just so that you get off. I don't know, Haystack. Haystack, you're going to get an ad in about a minute 30. And then I need to see whether or not we get the right information from the ad, if I am utilizing Node-RED properly. I'm beat after yesterday. 8 hours of building stuff was took a bit out of me. Feeling okay though. I think I got a pretty good sleep. Whatever, ever. Just one word comment based on what I'm talking. Okay. Based on what I'm talking about at the time, goes completely over my head. When ad comes up and your content is continuing live and the ad runs for 30 seconds, do I miss 30 seconds while the ad is running? We're dual casting to YouTube, so if you jump over to YouTube, you can just listen to me talk because the ad's running on Twitch. It's still gonna go to YouTube. It's not like it doesn't mess with the feed at all. The feed's coming from my OBS instance here. So I'm sending 2 streams of data, one to Twitch and one to OBS. That's directly from OBS. OBS has nothing to do with the ads. Twitch is the one that implements this on their end. So we got 25 seconds until an ad for Twitch. Although Twitch's tools give me like it's like a delay. It'll say ad running or ad's gonna run soon. And then it takes a couple seconds, like 15 seconds for it to actually happen, which is when we get all the Node-RED stuff, all those packets. All right, everyone's critic. Got to fart at me, you just walk into my room and you leave. Okay, here's the ad, any second now. Any second now. Any second now. Why do you do it this way? Why don't you give me a definitive timer? It's not like it'll load one up into the chamber or something. What's going on here? It literally is just, there it goes. Okay. And the light turned on and then immediately off again. What the hell? Payload, object, message ID, delay 180. So this is overwritten as it should. It made message.delay. And there's still the payload, which has all the stuff in it. But message.delay, oh. No. Override delay with message.delay, and it's 180 seconds. Why would that not? Does it do it like in milliseconds, in which case I'm gonna have to multiply it? It's always 180 seconds, isn't it? 3 minutes. So it still doesn't work, and it's probably my understanding of how delay works. Is there more info on delay? How do I get more info on you? Node variable delay. Node-RED delay V, pause type delay. All right, Node-RED, I'm gonna look it up. Delay node. Delay number sets the delay in milliseconds to be applied to the message. This option only applies if the node is configured to allow the message to override the configured default delay interval. That was, I mean, it's correct, but man, there's a lot of words. Override delay with message.delay. I'm confused. I send message.delay with a value of 3000 as in 3 seconds. It delays for 20. I need to alter the value and I need to multiply the value. Can I do that with base node? Because I need to turn seconds into milliseconds, or I need to somehow tell it that, well, they were describing an error, so maybe I need to keep reading. $3,000, it delays for 20 seconds. Once the node is triggered, it goes back to the 20 seconds. Use flow context variable to store your desired message delay value. Then use a change node immediately before the delay node to set message.delay to the value of that flow. What? You're telling them to do something completely different from what they wanted to do. That flickering light is really getting on my nerves. I'm gonna have to replace that light soon. I see this flickering in my peripheral vision. Yeah, it's this one right here. It's this one right next to my face is like flickering. I cheated and used the preview thing on the Twitch app. Yeah, I've got a script that does that. Set flow.delay with your desired delay. Flow.delay. It's message.delay. What? Set message delay to the value of flow delay before passing to the delay node. What do you want? Huh? Set message.delay. That's fine. I don't, what? Oh, there's probably more information in here, but. So. Different delay amounts. Too easy. Don't feel bad, but I've fallen for this trap many times myself. The nodes which send time, the delay is of milliseconds, not seconds. If you make the nodes 2000. I gave it a shot, running in the issue, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so how do I multiply a variable by 1,000? So if I do a change node, write the file, read the file, OBS, Tasmota. Twitch chat got a lot of stuff. Wait a minute. I think this is the wrong Twitch chat. That's way, I don't think I have that many things. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, that's the wrong Twitch chat. That's not the one that I'm using. Time switch is, that's fine. Actually, could I use time switch anymore? No, it doesn't look like it. Time switch deals with the current, daytime. Yeah, this is Twitch event sub, not this Twitch chat. That's not, I should get rid of that. Write file, read file. Yeah, it looks like I'm just gonna have to use change nodes. I've never done this kind of stuff before, so. Or function. Return MSG. Oh boy. Because I don't know if change can do. Yeah, that's like set, delete, and move. Message payload to the value or use an expression. But message dot delay. And then how the hell do these expressions work? Emma's saying she can't seem to send any more messages here after the first one. Not accidentally banned. I don't think so. You can PM me the screen name, but I don't think we have any. We don't really have anybody currently banned. I don't think it's mostly bots. I think that are banned. This is JS. Yeah, this is JavaScript. What is that? The Java message delay. Delay of message delay. MPGH. Yeah, I can run the unban command for that real quick. Hold on, let me just get this in here. Why did it open up a weird bookmark thing? Get out of here. I hit the wrong buttons. Everything's blowing up. Okay, hold on. Copy. Unban. Oh, slash unban. Slash unban. Is not currently banned. I mean, we only ban bots here, so it's probably a Switch thing. Twitch has been shadow banning some VPN endpoints. I've noticed that too, especially with streamers who allow a chat up on screen. If you send your chat, you go, "Hey, I'm new here," and you hit smiley face and you hit enter, and it doesn't show up in their chat role. It may be because you have a VPN running. It needs a return refresh. Not for me. That would be because all my stuff's running. Sorry, the return would be a return message, right? That's just like an expression block. That would be a function, wouldn't it? Let me just look up before I commit to that. Yeah, it would be Node-RED expression. Because I mean, like 101 on Node-RED expressions would be how to like multiply. So if I just look down here and say, can be any JavaScript, just blah, 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 the structure of a message. And then where are we in expressions? Expressions. This is, and I'm sorry to like hijack the stream for a minute because it's not what's in the title, but this is how we get more functionality, right? Sounds like the VPN maybe. Yeah, it sounds like if there is a VPN. If there's not a VPN and your chat messages aren't showing up in my chat, maybe you and John Twitch need to sit down and have a conversation, because that's beyond the purview of what I am capable of doing as a moderator and a streamer. Okay. Oh, that's okay. That's way easier than do. So we're just setting. Oh wait, we're still in the browser. I keep forgetting that Node. I keep thinking that Node's in its own thing. I need to like put that into its own window. Just put that over here with giant blown up old man text so that your intrepid but ancient streamer can actually read. Seconds into schmeckens. Why would I put a JonTron reference in the title? I don't watch him anymore. MS2S. MS2S. Okay, so we are doing message dot delay times set message delay to message delay times 1K. And that's it. That's all there is to it. I could put it in parentheses, but I don't really need to mathematically. It's a mathematical expression. So set message payload temperature C to payload temperature minus 32 times 5/9. It's all just math. Yeah, old man bother. Listen, I've had to blow the text up on everything. I got diabetic eyes. What is this, university? I know we're flirting with complex expressions here. This couldn't be worse. Anyway, your homework is MATLAB. Message.delay times 1,000, and I guess that's just going to do it. Hopefully. Now the question is, I'm overwriting message.delay with message.delay. So if this doesn't work, I can actually go back into where we set it and do message delay underscore ms, and then we'll change that as changing message delay into message delay ms times 1,000, in case it has some, you know, issues overwriting variables and stuff like that. Did my MATLAB course last year. I don't remember a damn thing about MATLAB, but I do remember it was fun. But I didn't learn a lot because I was under too much pressure to get certain homeworks done and ended up just copying people's homework. And so I didn't end up having that little bit of struggle to learn programming. Man, streaming is it's a lot like cheating, because my IDE is chat and my IDE tells me exactly what I want to know at all times, which you guys saw happening in real time just now. That kind of keeps you from learning, but it also stops you from stopping and not learning. So it's a little bit of one, little bit of the other, but I've managed to learn how to learn programming languages much better post education, mainly because the motivation's different too. All right, so supposedly if I take this and I put that before this, we are going to get message delay, multiply it by 1,000, and let's take this over here to make sure that everything works. And we'll send it off to the light that'll then remain illuminated for the duration of the ad break. And it's the light right now, but it's going to become an OBS scene later. It's just easier for me to troubleshoot like this. This is a lot of fun. Like, this is really fun, having all these like Tasmota devices and the you know, stuff I could just shove a microcontroller into and then put some kind of a delay on it and have it actually like do stuff and do smart stuff. This is like the beginning of creating smart home stuff, and I'm using it to make my stream just a little bit more sarcastic and punchy, which I guess is my noble cause. Deploy. Okay, so next ad break in 37 minutes. We got 37 minutes to futz around with this thing, and then we'll take a look at the debug menu and see what is what. But we don't know what is what. We just strut. And then I want to, at some point, if somebody has a Prime and you're willing to participate, I would love for you to hold on to that Prime until we get this done. And then I want to see a Prime subscription go through all of my doodads. Well, actually, I just want to see one raw. And I think I can simulate them at some point. At some node, I think I can log into something and simulate these things. I had the same experience. It was in a time crunch to finish my MATLAB homework because I had other courses to study for. And we made like a moon lander that was really efficient on fuel because this is control systems and robotics. Like we were doing some really cool stuff with MATLAB and I just squandered all of that. I didn't think it would be useful at all later on in life. It's a law, it's a law, it's a law of life. This is dull. I didn't poke through that at all. If you guys saw, I'm getting a new one of these. I have a friend that has a Prime, but I don't know if they've used it. Don't worry. I don't need anybody to go out of their way. It's okay. If when the time comes, if I prompt chat, sometimes there will be some straggler that'll have the Prime. But again, we can't really rely on that very much. We can't really rely on that. It feels sleazy on my end. But I'll just turn it on and we'll continue to stream. And if we're lucky, we'll get a Prime. Here's my Prime, 89. That's a good Prime. Good year, good Prime. 98, probably not a Prime. I'm not going to check. But that was a good year for video games. Half-Life 2, a bunch of other good stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm poking a little pilot hole in all these that I won't use. I'm just simply going to use it as the location of the thing that I need to cut out. Because what I want to do is I want to ride the edges of these holes very carefully in order to cut out all of the features of this thing. I tried using a hole punch. It didn't really work. It looked like crap. This is pretty much the best way to do the vinyl by the seat of your pants kind of method here for making the Eurorack front panel. And so my challenge here is to just kind of ride the edge of the hole. Maybe give it a slight chamfer. I gotta stop stealing AVE's jokes. That was a JonTron reference and an AVE reference, and they're two people that I just don't want to associate with. I need to watch more Notes and Volts and stuff. Then I can reference their humor and steal their jokes. See that? I'm just trying to like get the sharp blade to kind of smoosh down the vinyl and cut. Kind of a careful operation, and I am getting a little bit of plastic out of there as well. Should make sure my blade's clean. This is a brand new blade, so this thing will cut through all of your emotions. It's so sharp. Like a printout of a bunch of Emerson quotes dipped in lemon juice and poked in your eye. These are the tough ones, these little oval holes. And then as soon as I put the module in the rack, the screw's just gonna crush that. Very annoying. I need to get like big plastic washers to go on my nuts. Yeah, with a good sharp blade, this works very well, but you gotta be careful. Because the vinyl is not like fully stuck on. If I took a hairdryer to it, I could probably stick the vinyl on a little better. But PETG is a very unreactive plastic, and so stuff doesn't really like to stick to it very much. All these vinyl labels are just like a hand pull from being removed. But luckily, all the jacks and stuff are kind of their own thing. They don't actually rub against this surface. God, I feel hyperglycemic. What is my blood glucose level doing? Stand by for biohacking. I'll pull it up on screen in just a sec. I only have two hands. I only have these two hands. The Ripper dock has yet to be able to install a third. Okay. Ah! Oh! Then I stabbed something. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh! I did it again. Oh, Jesus. Okay, put the knife down. Put the knife down. PG. Okay, so I'm not hyperglycemic. I just feel like crap because I had a terrible morning. I need washers for my nuts. That's not something to just kind of bust down the door of a temp agency and just say, Okay, just don't. Careful when you say things like that. And they're actually bolts, but it's funnier to say you need washers for your nuts. You know, you can bust into the hardware store and say that. Just don't, like, not the temp agency next door, you know, the hiring place. Okay. It's a law. It's a law. Okay, that is looking pretty good. Pretty good. Man, doing this on microscope is a trip. I could probably zoom in the microscope and we could see the blade shearing the vinyl away as I ruin the hole. Now, that one didn't do so well up there. A little bit of additional hole tracing. I tried using like one of those proper deburring tools on this, and it does not cut that well. You can use a really sharp deburring tool. I did not get it to clear the vinyl properly. It's the super duper de-duper sharp scalpel blade that really does it. Tracing around town. Okay. So this is like the really careful part of this, and then we'll do the labeling part of it, which should be nice and easy. It's basically 2 CVs, 2 outputs, and then 2 control signals for the filter itself. And this is like the whole topology of a synthesizer. You have something that produces the waves that's controlled by voltage. You have something that amplifies or lowers the volume level of it, and you have a gate that'll trigger that sort of process, and then you have an effect that you put your wave through in order to make it sound cool. So that's basically synthesis. That is a simple topography. There are much more complicated ones that you can achieve with the Eurorack system, and people do. They have whole sequencers and all kinds of fun stuff. So I've got a bunch of stuff. I have not produced waves yet. Pleasant sounding. Okay, this started to mess up. I've not produced pleasant sounding waves yet, so I need to actually get to doing that. And part of that is just to make sure that this filter works. So we'll need to figure out how to test this filter and get it functioning. I don't know a thing about how this thing actually works, so. But we built it yesterday, and we're gonna test it out today. But I need a front panel because I need to know what my thingies do. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't do like a pseudo chamfer on a pseudo fillet on the outer edge of this. So we'll do that in just a sec here. I'm feeling, when I'm holding onto the edge here, I'm feeling this vinyl sticking over the edge. So let's do that real quick before I accidentally brush it wrong. If I brush this wrong, it'll lift up the vinyl label. So what I need to do, X-Acto knife scared. No, we're good. I just need to go at an angle and just do a little controlled cut around each edge. And this is only because I've done this a lot that it looks like anything, but it does remove the tiniest bit of plastic with it. What I really need is like a tool. I need to make a tool that'll do a nice like 45-degree chamfer. Do you have a signal generator? I got that right here. Yep, I have my this is the prototype of the module testing module. So this is module testing module. It produces gate signals, it produces LFO like triggers, and it does sine wave output at a particular frequency. And I think I have a square wave as well. And that's just thanks to the I2S system that is incorporated in the Teensy 4.0 and 4.2. Paul Stoffrigan has on his website all these audio tools, and you just basically put together an audio chain and it'll output audio out of his little thing with I2S. And so that's what this does essentially. And then I sort of messed with it a little bit so that when you hit the buttons, it'll change some of the parameters around. We're testing module? No, the module testing module made it of modules is over here. We're not working on that today. I ambitiously thought that we would have time to work on everything. And at the end of an 8-hour stream, I only had one filter as a result. But it's good to have a new filter module, because I didn't have any. I had clouds that was broken on my other setup, my Eurorack setup. So now I've actually got this super serious nonlinear circuits filter that I can add to the fray and have a real synthesizer. I'm going to be a real boy with a real synthesizer. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. I hope M can sort out that non-posting thing. I don't understand why that would happen. It's got to be like VPN or some shit like that. Yeah, I love nonlinear circuits. I really do. I love nonlinear circuits. First of all, just because I can log into Modular Addict and just literally order a circuit board of one of them, but also because the design is completely mad, and I can talk about that all day. There are some things that I don't like what nonlinear circuits is doing, but the thing that I do like is that these are all sort of analog-ish. They're kind of like bare bones. They do one function, and they've been put together hastily by somebody who knows their stuff. And yeah, it's just very straightforward to build them and to use them. And I've even modified them. I turned my brain custard into a very LFO, very low frequency oscillator that does just random wibbles of low frequencies. And that's really nice to trigger other stuff on the synthesizer. Technically, it should all be musically timed, but whatever. My ambition of making weird noises ahead of stream gets closer and closer. So I can just have weird nonsense happening ahead of my stream instead of music. We will be replacing music. People will no longer request music. It will simply be weirdness. Okay, so that's the cutting there. I'm going to put the knife unsafely down on the desk. So that's the initial part of my front panel. We've got all the various holes cut out. Now we need to actually label stuff. And for that, where'd my labeler go? Oh, that's over there. I got a labeler. I see you're streaming. Turn it on in a minute. An hour and 22 minutes later, immediately remember to turn your stream on. What? How unfortunate to forget. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. It's good to see you here. We got 24 minutes until an ad, and then I get to see whether or not my timing Node-RED stuff works. It's going to be a little bit. I have too many modules. I don't have enough too many modules. My dad has the same exact labeler. I ordered this years ago, and there are better ones out there from Dymo and Brother and whatnot. That's a labeler. Looks kind of cool. I don't know if you can get one of these again, but these are the key. It's these adhesive labels. See, I used to try to mark all of my bins with a Sharpie, so you just write whatever's on there, and that was it. And then through using them, it just blurred the hell out of all of them. And so I had absolutely no idea what anything was after a certain amount of time. I was like, okay, so maybe if I just put tape over the Sharpie. No, that doesn't work. That just makes the Sharpie blur. So these thermal labelers are really good at doing that kind of stuff. Then, for these thermal labelers, you can buy shrink wrap thermal labels. And so when you're building a big cabinet of electronics that do a bunch of stuff, and you got a bunch of wire runs that are going into those cable organizers, you can just shrink wrap what it does onto the wire and then put a ferrule on the end, and Bob's your uncle. Like, it's really a really nice way to stay organized when you're doing that kind of stuff. All right, let's get all the way over here. We can close this. Nonlinear circuits, serious filter. There was we did a drunken D&D night one time with a bunch of the fellow who sent me this microphone was there. We were doing a drunken D&D night, and one of the abilities was renamed to Star Sirius Laser. So every time I see Sirius Filter, I'm thinking about that. It was just a bunch of stupid joke characters. I don't think any of it was really worth repeating, though, because we were drunk. It doesn't make for a good game. Oh, I noticed something. Oh, you know what? No. This one doesn't have the Zener diode. Never mind. Sorry. I noticed something on the other. I sat down on my desk yesterday after 8 hours of streaming, and I took a look at what I had up. And what I had up was a schematic for the other filter module, and it had a Zener diode sitting right there. And I'm like, oh no, one of the diodes is a Zener diode. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No. We're good. We're good. He uses those cables, creates labeled shrink wrap thingies. Love to use them myself. Yeah, they're awesome. Can you see me over here? Yes, I can indeed. You are now up there. I don't know why, what you've done to John Twitch to get them to hate you so much, but it's pretty serious if your chats aren't showing up. I don't know what you did or who you showed what or what the hell happened. Oh, that was a crazy night. Dear Ashriel, never come back to Twitch. Love, John Twitch. Oh no, what did I do? Where's the front panel? I can't get a picture of the front. There's like no information. All right, nonlinear series filter. Nonlinear circuits. Nonlinear circuits. Serious. How to type on a keyboard. Videos. This should help. This should help. Okay, it's not loading. We'll never know. We'll never know how to type on a keyboard. What the? Oh, ad. No, not an ad. It was something else. That lit up for 4 seconds. It doesn't say that we're running an ad. We got 20 minutes for an ad. Somebody else did something. Oh, you said idea. Okay, you said idea in chat. That's the yellow and green. I have trouble differentiating between. I have that a little bit of that kind of color blindness. You seem to think I was someone else from the day before, though. It's M from the Discord and your past. Yes, I know who you are now. If the name came up in chat for the one chat, I probably did not know who you were. Yes. Listen, I got a lot going on right now. There's a lot of lights on me. I'm trying to be smart. And yesterday was a trip because we had like 80 people in here. It was a good stream. And then I've also got this freaking light. This light is driving me nuts. What is going on up there? I guess I took this from the kitchen because it was flickering in the kitchen, and I thought it might have been like the socket or foot traffic. You can see it flickering right now. It's flickering. I gotta replace that light. It's so distracting. Hey, Bother, multi-stream idea. I don't need ideas. Or subathon if you ever want. Build your own AC from scratch. There is a YouTube channel called Hyperspace Pirate. If you need that itch scratched. If you need that itch scratched, watch these streams because the decently edited, punchy, fun, and mostly having to do with refrigerating things that shouldn't be refrigerated in ways that should be condemned. Yeah, really good channel. This is Chester Willard, posted that in the Discord, and it's just a really good channel. Tomatolicious. Just recap the light. We might take it apart and figure out what's ailing it. If there's like a trace that's exploded, because that tends to happen with these things. These LED lights I feel like are not incredibly safe because their failure modes seem to revolve around traces burning up. What's going on down there? What is all that down? Oh, that's a stand. Okay. All right, let's use this. All right, so we need a certain number of labels, and then this is called Sirius filter. I don't know if I want to do it on 2 lines like it is on the thing. I could just write well, Sirius is a big word, so let's go ahead and do Sirius and then filter. So I'm going to do that in, I believe, 18 size. I don't get 2 lines with 18. I need to go down a size, I think. Yeah, maximum number of lines. So we'll go down to, oh, 12 doesn't even do it. 8, but then the rest of the stuff on the actual synthesizer is done. We got to go to 18. Let's see if it fits at 18. Serious filter. Actually, I could just, well, we could just cut the label, so. Oh, 18 is way too big. Is that, wait, what's the size that I did? They were supposed to last millions of hours. I know, and then they cheaped out on everything. They said, we don't have enough LEDs. Let's make a way to make them really, really cheap. And manufactured in a split second. I've had some that go a full 240 volts over the entire aluminum frame. What? Yeah, I don't, the LED headlight, or not headlights, the LED ceiling or whatever lamp lights, I have some issues with. 3340 went down a size. Most of the things are indeed in 18, but I think I can go down a size. I think I'll go down a size because this is way too big of a label. I mean, that's like, you can read that from space. And I don't think there's any way that I could get two lines to fit and not be completely in the way. I mean, I'm not putting knobs on this. It already has the plastic, little plastic guys. But yes, Sirius would take up, and I would call it Sirius, but I kind of want filter on there. I have an idea. Perfect. Okay. SF for short. But then I won't know what SF means. What's San Francisco doing on my synthesizer? I mean, how else are you going to find the labeler? You got to start somewhere. Okay, so this is my method of cutting these out because the split backing of the label maker is very annoying to work with. So what I do is I stick it down onto the vinyl backing, which barely holds on to it. Okay, and then, yeah, see, it's like peeling up already over there. Serious. Tweezers, because my fingers are too giant for this kind of work. And I've basically incorporated in the look as the slight unevenness of my being able to not cut a straight line with this stuff. Serious. And tiny little filter underneath. Oh, Lolin, it's nice to have you around. Appreciate all my viewers. You guys are way too crazy. It makes me think like something's gonna happen. Bother, did we mention that we really like your streams, even though you're gonna get banned and thrown into jail? Wait, what? What? Even though we put a price on your head. Hey! None of that. None of that. Hey! You stop that. Stop it. Y'all nasty. Jeez. What have they been feeding you? Okay. Filter. How old are you? A normal amount. Okay. There. Serious filter. Wow, that is crooked. I did not know that was that did not look that crooked from the other perspective. All right, whatever. Okay, so yeah, this is these little bulge things are from glass ripping up from my printer bed. I need to find the other piece of printer material, and these need to be cut out a little bit better because these are potholes. These are potentiometer holes, so they need the vinyl to not butt up against the plastic potentiometer shaft. Just taking a little bit of the plastic with it, which is fine. Yeah, I don't really have any refrigeration stuff. You know, I wanted to mess with phase change cooling on computers, but I never really got to it. Water cooling was maintenance enough for me. I have all the water cooling stuff though, and my computer is currently doing a thing where it forms a bubble in one of the radiators, which displaces the water and threatens to leak water out of the little fitting that I put on specifically because these bubbles would form in the cooling system and block cooling from flowing, you know, swiftly. So I need to reorient all of the components that make up my computer, and I need to put the 1,000-watt power supply on it so that I can actually unlock some of those little boost thingies that Radeon has. The 6900 XT that I have. The 6900 XT, why don't you buy a modern card, bother? It took me years to get that card, so I can't change it up now. Flip the computer upside down. That's what I do to get the bubbles out. It's a nonlinear circuits module. It'll be fine. Yeah. You should not have used the close-up view for that. Well, whatever. Again, it's nonlinear circuits. Like this is going to be the fanciest nonlinear circuits module in existence. Okay, so I'm going to keep 8 points is good in CV1. Oh, I need multiples of these. In one CV1, into CV2. So in CV1, sorry for my language. Res, again, sorry for my language. Can I get another line? I can. In one, in two, CV1, CV2. And then BP, I can say BPO as in BP out, or just band out. Or BO. Let's do more up here. Low. Or band P out and low P out. P's for pass. Band P out. Low P. Low out. Low out. In CV, frequency resist. Okay, I think I got everybody. Print. Look at all those labels. Then I got to turn this thing off because this thing absolutely just eats batteries. A cooling embolism. Yeah, I suppose so. Just end the AI rush so you can buy a GPU. What are you waiting for? Yeah, exactly. They're not even... Okay, listen. All the computer hardware that they're sort of bogarting from the rest of us is not like normal house computing stuff. It's bespoke like data center cards and stuff. It may make everything else more expensive, but it's not. I don't think it's really going to translate to the consumer market all that well. If they throw all that stuff in a dumpster and we all go dumpster diving and grab it, we can crunch numbers with it. I don't think they're traditional video cards, although that market is also being sort of hammered by it. I think they're changing their production over to making data center cards instead of making said video cards, which drives up the price of the video cards, is my understanding. The memory chips themselves. So we're going to have to all get air soldering stations and start ripping up memory chips. Because so the silicon for the memory chips is what drove up that sort of sector, but the unavailability and relative expense of video cards is not a completely different animal, but it is affected by that. But it's still like at the end of this, when all's said and done, when these ghouls are 6 feet under and from all the drugs they're taking, all the weird designer drugs they're on. Because have you seen these people give public speeches? They're tweaking Like, you can tell they look like a crack addict trying to get on an elevator. Like, it's crazy. But anyway, when all is said and done at the end of things and the dust is settled and we go to get all of our computer hardware back, it's really about the manufacturers being able to manufacture volumes of hardware for the consumer. What's happening now is they're buying up the silicon to keep everybody else from using it. It is just the worst kind of business. But what they're doing is they're buying up the silicon and they're letting it sit on a shelf. So it's like the worst thing ever. Here, get you guys nice and close so that we get at least a decent view of what I'm doing. And this is how I've been labeling the entire synthesizer. It's been nice to have consistent labels on everybody. Consistent. I'm gonna start talking like with a Northern England kind of accent the more I watch certain channels. Oh, yes, love. This is something that's happened just with experience, is I can feel when I reach the lines that I've already cut. Actually, have I cut the top one? Yeah, I can see a line there. So from there, I'm just simply poking in, grabbing the label, and hopefully I cut enough, and there we go. So this one says in, so that goes here. It goes in the square hole. You just walk into my house, let one of those fly, and leave? Is that really what you're doing? How's it going, Gonad? Speaking of Northern England accent. Okay, there. We're labeling this module, and then we're going to put it on the scope and see if I actually built it properly, which the answer is likely no, but I need to make sure that it's fully working before I commit to hanging out with Julian again. It'd be very embarrassing if it didn't work. In one goes all the way down here. I guess we're labeling under the jack. I've been labeling above the jack for most of it. And there's this big open spot in the middle of this one. Some of the cooler labeling things that I've done are cutting so that the label goes all the way up into the jack hole, and then cutting the label around the jack hole. So it looks a little different. It looks like, you know, it's actually covering that jack itself, so it goes up to that. But this will be straightforward enough. You know that the CV1 knob moves CV1 and the in knob, and et cetera, et cetera. It is nonlinear circuits. How can you ever tell if it's doing the right thing or not? True. The Galaxy Brain move is to have modified nonlinear circuits modules. And again, with nonlinear circuits, I think the best way to go is by building them from the circuit board up with a minimal amount of information. And that said, there is only a minimal amount of information about the nonlinear circuits devices. That's all you're going to get. If you expect to be getting a comprehensive how-to, I think there's like one of the modules has that, but it's not from nonlinear circuits. It's the nonlinear circuits is pretty much like, welcome to the deep end. Like, you're on your own, have fun, everything is a little janky, and that's what I adore about nonlinear circuits. I adore it. I love it. Love it. Can't get enough. Can't stop, won't stop. This is like putting stickers on my RC car. CV1 is this Jim Jam. And then CV2 is a jack. I don't know, there's a pretty good, it feels nice to be cutting something with this sharp of a blade. CV2. Did I hear Galaxy Brain? It's just an internet thing. There are these memes where they have this picture of a galaxy man, and the different stages of the meme are the different stages of the brain, and at the end it's like an exploding galaxy. That's sort of where that comes from. I don't think it's it may originally have been from Midnight Burger, but I don't know what Midnight Burger is. I don't know what that is. Did I really cut it, or did it cut me? Oh, there we go. Okay. Res. That's this one. Resonance. Look at it resonating. My God. Band out. How's that gonna fit here? I think I'm gonna double layer them. Bandpa and Lope. Lopa sounds like Swedish for something. Ah, Lopa. Let's see. Lopa filter. Lope. Interloper. Lope. And Bamp. I mean, one of these days I'm going to take one of these modules and I'm going to like verbosely label everybody. Bandpass filter output jack. Instead of these weird like acronymy ways. Feels so good to be cutting with a blade this sharp. Something Hannibal Lecter making beef Wellington. No. Whoa. Let's just do, hold on. This is going to waste all of my labels, but. Actually, you know what? No, let's not waste labels. Let's not waste labels. Let's be efficient. Be efficient. We're efficient. We're being efficient. I was going to print out outputs and put that near the outputs, but I can just put it like sideways. Oh, cut it all the way. Come on. Give me the sticker. There we go. Or should I go like that? I don't have any precedent for this. I could also just layer it like that. Or just put out in the middle of these two. That's too close to the thing, though. Let's just go sideways. And then I'll do this one in the exact same way to make it look professional. Perfect. And now this thing is completely destroyed. There's so many little cuts through it now, but that's the method. That's the method that I'm using. And if you're using similar sticky labels, it helps to transfer them over to something that's wax paper. And if you are replacing all of your front panel 3D prints with something that doesn't look like 3D prints, aka vinyl wrap, then you will have a big piece of wax paper sitting around. You don't need a rubber roller, but I just happen to have one. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone forever. Yeah, it's professional. Yeah, see? Okay. Bam. There is our serious filter. What the? Oh, ad break. It works. For those that are looking at this in 480p, I got the sticker on me. So the question is that gonna match up with this? So let's give it a minute and let's see. And now I can actually solicit chat for a Prime sub. It's a really weird thing. When I was building Burn the Subs, this would happen too. Burn the Subs, by the way, if you guys don't know, Burn the Subs is a piece of wall art. There's the modular synthesizer, and the 505 that I'm working on learning. Actually, M's on, they're on YouTube, so they can see this, because YouTube's not running an ad right now. If you guys want it, well, you guys can't hear me, but the ones that can't hear me can jump over to YouTube to hear what I'm saying. But this guy right here, Burn the Subs, we will be working on it. I haven't worked on it in like 3 years. I know I'm terrible. I'm an awful person, but you know, I promised Julian that I would do synthesizer stuff, and I've wanted to do that. So we are getting to the point where I can tell Julian, I did synthesizer stuff. And actually, I got to go over to his house in the next 2 weeks and play around with synthesizers. So it'll be fun. Anyway, I've done that now. So we can get back to Burn the Subs. when I was working on Burn the Subs, I would set up a test and I would go, hey guys, it would be really neat if we could test this with a live subscription. And then people gift subscriptions. It was the weirdest thing. You would just be like, ooh, I really could use a hug right now. And somebody would give you a hug. It's weird, right? It's weird. That's weird. That's weird. Ooh, if only I could get a subscriber. And then somebody would gift one. It was crazy. So I don't know. I don't think I can get away with that with the number of people that are viewing right now. But sometimes you can be like, did I say the word prime? And like 5 primes will roll in. It's crazy. So anyway, I promised that I wouldn't talk about anything too interesting while the ads were going on. But again, remember, you can go to YouTube and you can hear what I have to say in between ads because the YouTubers, I haven't monetized the YouTube channel. I can't. I'm not popular. This could stop any minute now. 16 seconds. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Okay, there's a bit of a... That was not the best thing to... Aha! Why'd it go red? Oh, because Solid Electronics subbed. Actually, we don't know if that expired or not. That could have been Solid Electronics with the Prime. Also, Solid Electronics, you messed it up. I needed just a little bit more time. No. Okay, so that did reach 0, so that would technically turn it off. The Prime sub, I'm not going to see over here. 180,000. Okay, so that did it. That is a working node. Yeah, you can add over, but light's still on. No, see what happened was it probably got sent 2 off signals. So the red light came on, which was the signal that somebody had subbed with a prime, maybe. Even though I didn't see the red light come on when it subbed. It could have actually just blanked it out. I don't know though. And that could have been it naturally expiring. So we need to actually see what a prime sub looks like over here. So I'm going to activate that. I don't think I need to deploy, but it does actually have a little bobble next to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So our flow for the ad break timer works. So I can pop something up on screen and I'll have to make a graphic for it. It might just be text that'll say Twitch ad break, and that'll be on every scene so that we know that it's happening. So anyway, I'm going to get a little bit of the trash off of the board here. Yeah, we're going to get a bunch of channel chat messages too. I'm going to get the trash out of here, which means banning my whole chat. And then we will work on characterizing this filter. I'm going to put it all the rest of it back together. And I would urge anybody with a Prime sub, now would be a great time to spend that Prime sub. It would be awesome because I would then be able to get the message that says what occurs in the API when somebody subs with a Prime. No, the fart machine does not count. That's coming in as a, you can see right there, it says redeem, but that's not what a sub looks like. A sub has a different structure to the Java message that gets passed around. This fucking light, hold on, I'm gonna unscrew a light and hopefully I don't, fall and brain myself. It'll happen by audio. I need a bunch of like cartoon bonks and explosion noises and like the cat screeching. I'm just going to unscrew this light and put it on the desk. This is the flickering light. Is this labeled with, yeah, this is labeled a giant F. F for flicker. Also, F's in the chat for this light that doesn't work. So that's the flickering light. That thing has been incredibly distracting. It doesn't generate gas. How does it generate gas? Maybe on like a microfluidics scale. That's not how you describe something in microfluidics. No, that's not. Maybe on the nano scale. There we go. That's a little better. It's nano because it's smart. It's quantum. Everything's quantum. We're in a Voyager universe. I'm putting away my diodes, all my diodes. They're all Zeners, I think. What do we got? 40 minutes until the next ad. Nice. Solid material degassing. There you go. Everything's degassing all the time. Even my butt. All right. So, Star Sirius filter. Let's put this back together. Eat your heart out, Duresta. Mine is plastic. It'll be around here after we're all dead. Okay, this one goes over here. We don't need our transistor book anymore. Put that away. I want to make a little bit of space because we're going to poke around at this thing. And a bench setup, a clean bench setup is a happy bench setup. Whenever you're doing like, yeah, the lights get really hot, and that's what kills them. They have, some of them have like metal on the inside, like inside the plastic, and that's where they're dumping all the heat from the transistors in there. But yeah, these get pretty hot, and they sit in their own little alcove. And so the heat cycle is what eventually kills stuff. It causes traces to flex, and the flexing traces eventually crack. And then the crack creates a, what do you call it? A choke point. And the choke point has a certain amount of resistance, and that creates heat, and the heat causes the thing to flex, so blah, 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 until it blows up. 110C to 20C heat cycle is crazy for a PCB in the LED with no air exchange. There's no air exchange. Kisa the Immortal asks, what's that? Are you zoomer enough to... Whoa! Oh, that was the ideal light. That wasn't a sub. Okay. I'm waiting for a prime sub to roll in. Hey, by the way, if you guys have Twitch Prime, you have a free sub on the back of Jeff Bezos to your favorite streamers. And those Prime subs do not remind you each month of when they expire. And so if you let it lapse, you are putting a new cheeseburger in Jeff Bezos' mouth. So don't let Jeff Bezos have all of your cheeseburgers. Make sure to sub that Prime. I'm trying to capture a Prime sub so that we can get the message, and I can make sure that I have proper Prime subs go into this thing, because I think something about the message might have changed a little bit. I want a cheeseburger. Don't we all? Don't we all? Oh, I gotta take drugs today. All right. Yeah, anyway. I'm gonna put this thing back together. We're gonna test it. This is a Sirius filter. It has a bandpass and a low pass filter. So if I put a sine wave into this thing, into the input, and I twiddle the knobs around, we can see how it affects said sine wave. And we'll see what we need to do in order to put this thing through its paces and give it a good test. Are you ready for a sub? Do you mean, am I a sub or a dom? That's a very personal question that you're asking. If you're going to prime sub, then yes, I am completely ready. I'm accepting and I'm ready. As long as we say bean sprouts when we've had too much. What just happened? That was a chat message. Chat message, subscribe. So was that a... Why didn't that go through on any of my other stuff? Hold on a second. What the Willow thing still works. Hold on, I'm gonna look. I'm looking. That was 7 minutes ago with the message sub. That wasn't Hinky247, but for some reason the API put Hinky247. I used my Prime while you were talking, and then you cleared the debug. What? I've got one up here as the very first one. Oh, my notifications did not tell me any of this stuff. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm gonna refresh over here in Streamlabs. What are you guys doing to me here today? It sucks if you did that. Okay, Strife Bean an hour ago, Solid Electronics 8 minutes ago, and that was the last one to get recognized. Red. Hold on. Short Lurker sub with Prime. Okay, there we go. And this one was also supposedly a Prime for Hinky247. Chat message, channel chat notification, channel subscription message, user ID. That was username oh bother and display name oh bother. What the heck is going on? It's not us, Jeff Bezos. You're encouraging him. Oh no, everybody's been praying for my grandfather. Stop. He's too powerful. Tier 1000. It's the tier that tells us whether it's a prime or not, if I recall correctly. Need to thank Obother for the sub. Hey, thank you guys for subbing. I really appreciate this. Solid Electronics let me refresh Streamlabs because the Hinky didn't come through. What's up with that? Yeah, Hinky247 didn't come through, and I don't understand what that's all about. So going down here, chat message, chat message, chat message, chat message, channel chat, chat. Another red. And that one came through. There it is. That's Hinky247 subscribing for 4 months with the message strange. And so down here, channel subscription message with the raw event giving us all the information on it. Tier 1000, which is, I guess, is a prime. So that comes through as channel subscription message, and it is lighting up the light. The red light needs to be longer. Needs to be longer. I don't have enough people here. So sub red 80 and then delay 8 seconds. Let's make that into 10. Just so I actually like really acknowledge. Thank you guys for the subs. I really appreciate you guys helping me troubleshoot this stuff. We now have the ability, once I make the scene and I point OBS towards the scene, we can activate and then deactivate a scene in OBS when there's ads playing. Yeah, thank you, Hinky. I appreciate that very much. And Short Lurker, thank you very, very much. And then who else? It was Solid Electronics was right before I activated the thing. So I appreciate the sentiment, though. I really do. You're an OBS. Never ever tell me that. Okay, so two more of these to go. 2 more of these to go, and then we can test this thing a little bit and see if this filter filters. We got through it, everybody. So now all I need to do is get, and all the stuff that was plaguing me, by the way. Oh, I need to actually, the function needs to go away. So we learned today that I can actually put in just a very simple message delay times 1,000 and turn the milliseconds into seconds, and then that will go into the variable. And then when I actually decide what sets what to what, I can go into, oh, we don't need a deep copy value. I can go into the, whatever, the debugger and actually get the path copied directly to the clipboard, which is what I should do, because one of the problems we had was that when I had channel ad break begin, there was a space after begin, and that's what messed up the flow. That's what kept it from working properly. But we now know that our Prime subscriptions, even though they roll in kind of a weird way, those still activate the proper things. And eventually down the line, I'll want to make more complex notification things. I could even just take over Streamlabs' whole thing, except Streamlabs has a donations thing that I use, so maybe I could just point people towards my PayPal. At least these potatoes are taking so long to cook that I have more time to stay here. I'm glad that potatoes are what stands between us. we would make such a great pair if it weren't for potatoes. Okay, serious filter, band pass, low pass, basic in and out filter. It's something from Nonlinear Circuits, which I love. A lot of crazy circuit board stuff. We spent 8 hours building it yesterday, and today it is now complete-ish. We got to test it. So light bulb out of the way, sign out of the way. I now have more LM13700s than I know what to do with. Luckily, these are pretty versatile. We can use these in a bunch of different things. The through-hole variety is not my favorite, but whatever. And of course, we've got another filter to build in the near future. This is uses a what's called a Vactrol, which is just a bunch of photodiodes and an LED. Potet indeed. Okay, this is my module testing rack. It will eventually get a nice module testing module that'll have a nice looking display. Still working on it. This is kind of more of an experimental kind of thing. I want this to be able to calibrate itself and have all the voltage references inside of it. It's a little bit big, but it'll be worth it to have on this thing when I finally get it done. It's not done, so we can't use it. But I made sort of a proto version of that module testing module. I've got a little I2C OLED display, and the top row of that is a different color from the bottom row because this is an accidental order. The best thing for the accidental orders to find their ways into prototypes. I'm using a Teensy 4.0 because Paul Stoffrigan has authored these really awesome audio tools that let you route all of your ins and outs so you can make whatever topography you want on a synthesizer on one of these and give it a bunch of knobs. It'd be a righteous little project. It's actually pretty easy to do. I'm not using it like that though. What I have is I have 3 I2S modules that are 2-channel modules. They're going into amplifiers that are controlled by the potentiometers here. So I've been able to adjust things to be relatively accurate to within sort of what I expect out of a modular synthesizer, being that I'm not a musician. And then I have controls here that blew up and fell off. Maybe I can stick a piece of metal in there and get them to actually change things. But what this allows me to do is to plug in a module. I don't know why I left another plug right there. It allows me to plug a module in, look at the current flowing through it to make sure that it's not running out of control, hold it in a position where I can plug stuff into it and it'll be relatively stable, you know, pick it out and take a look at the back. And it'll also allow me to punch it with gate voltages and CVs and stuff like that. And so that's what we're going to do to this thing, and we're going to try to see what we get on the output to make sure that it's working properly. And again, like it was said in chat, this is a non-linear circuit, so things are done a little bit weird. And if you want evidence of that, I mean, just look at the trace routing. The trace routing is just a little bit crazy. Things just kind of go as the crow flies. There's like random, like let's do a right angle on this one. Let's maybe give it a little 45 on that one, and then let's just go straight over to the via. Like that is indicative of the rest of the design of this thing. It's madness. It's madness, and I can't get enough of it. It's great. I love the way he does stuff. All I wish that nonlinear circuits would do is use Q and R and C instead of the value, because in months after publishing the actual module, all of the people using the module say, hey, you made a big dookie, and this part would do better with a 5K. And so what they have to do is take a picture of the area of the circuit board and go, hey, replace this one with the 5K. Brain Custard was like that. Brain Custard had a lot of those kinds of edits, and it's just because if you use Q, R, and C, you can just say revision, C4 is now this value. You don't need to give a photo because it'll be indicative of the numbering scheme. Because if you set the CAD program to go from if you set the CAD program to go from one corner to the other with the Q's, R's, and C's, then I can infer by the number where that component is located. You can zero in on a position. This probably made electrical contact, but we'll be nice and solder them. I don't say solder, I say solder. I don't say aluminum or aluminium because there aren't that many syllables, and it's spelled aluminum. So you'll hear me say solder, and it might make your European ears tingle. You're just gonna have to tolerate it. I'm an American. All right, good enough. All right, did we forget any of the other ones? No. Okay, that'll be good. That'll do. What's Q, R, and C? When you build electronics and you're labeling your stuff, generally when you label stuff, you do U5, C15, C6, R6. Instead of actually giving it a value like 5K, you use C's and R's and Q's. Because if you're building this, you're going to have what's called a bill of materials, a BOM, in front of you. And that'll be a spreadsheet that'll essentially say R15, R17, R20, 100K. You say it in the PA way. Is it that Pennsylvanian? I thought solder was spelled sauter because of the way we say it. Solder. Solder. S-O-D-D-E-R. And it's Wooderice, W-U-D-D-E-R, or W-O-D-D-E-R, ice. Wooderice. Anyway, yeah, so if you use C's and R's and D's and whatnot, if I say, oh, D1 is here, I'm looking for D6. I don't know how many diodes I use. I don't even know if there's a D6, but I would expect D6 to be somewhere around like down here. I think this counts as a diode. Why do I call that P7? It's labeled over here. Yeah, D3. So that's, I mean, it's not 100%, but it does help that generally. I made big giant labels on this thing because this is supposed to be kind of like a universal module. And so I'd populate all those components and then fill it with whatever software I feel is appropriate. Yeah, it's just like, and it's, you know, that's the long time convention of building circuit boards. And so I understand that it's like, why should I do things like the man? I should do things my own way and have this cool hip new version. It's like, don't do that. Don't do that, because it's not like this isn't like a form of fascism that we're dealing with here. This is a form of standardization that helps people like me troubleshoot my friend's blown up module. You know, let me get a couple cables so we can actually do a serious test of the serious filter. Scope up. Scope up. Blank signal. That would be that 1/4 inch. Sorry, 1/8 of an inch jack that's sitting on the desk there. That's just my one scope lead that I have plugged in at the moment. Now, we've already turned this on. We've already powered it up before. If we were building a $300 module that had to be immediately shipped out, I would advocate being careful about the power up. And when you're careful about the power up, you set a current limit on your power supply. So I would not use this. I would use my power supply, and I would set a current limit of milliamps. I'd set a very small current limit and then gradually work the voltage up to the right voltage. And that way, if there's something like a short or there's an immediate problem with it, you can see the immediate problem, unhook it, and you're not at dangerous voltage levels. If I hit this thing with 12 volts immediately, which is what I did because I am a Twitch streamer, and if this thing belches fire, then I get clipped, I get on the Reddit front page, and then I get 500 viewers. I have not been able to achieve getting 300 viewers, which is my goal. And I know goals are not supposed to be achieved. I've done better than a lot of people who have tried to start streaming electronics, and I've partnered. And so I could not be happier with where I am, but I would very much like to get way more people in here. I don't know how to do it. So anyway, one of these days something will explode and I'll go viral. That's why I powered it up immediately. For educational purposes, if you're doing this stuff on your own, find your buddy who has a good power supply, one of these like adjustable current limiting available power supplies, and buy him a pack of beer, because gradually, slowly powering up something like this is how you keep it from being a really expensive mistake. All right, what was that? What was Keith to say? Actually, now that I can spell it out, that's cursed. What, solder? Solder. Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway, let's turn this thing on. Boop. It blew up. No, it's fine. Okay, so I've got, I went above and beyond the Call of Duty, and I did these fancy little labels and boxes. I don't know how to alter them because the switches broke off. It's spelled aluminium in countries that say it that way. Saying solder is incorrect and performative. You're whatever. We've had this discussion before. We technically all should be calling it aluminum. Anyway, I've got a high-low at 0.4 hertz. I've got a 65.4 hertz sine, which I think is middle C. And then we have a triangle wave. We have a low and high at 0.4, so it's high-low and low-high. And then we have a 2-volt DC. And then we also have a pulse, which is 0.8 hertz. So the pulse is just like this little like tick. Problem is, 2 of these channels are on the fritz. So if I plug into what should be my high-low, that's not high-low. And if I poke it, now it works. Why am I full of magic powers? I don't know. If I go low-high, again, okay, maybe you, no, who knows? Okay, but sine works. So we've got a sine wave. Let's see, we've got V average on here right now, so I got to change that. Let me change that on the scope. Measure. Channel 1, horizontal, and we want frec. Okay, and then we need to Get out of the menu. Do 65 point. Yeah, it should be 0.4, but it's kind of jumping around. It's as close as I could get. Solgar. Okay, and then 2 volts DC. That says 1.8. It's possible that due to temperature differences, it's kind of freezing down here right now. What's up, Wheezy Peasy? It's waving. It's waving to us. Sorry, I thought you were waving hello, and Streamer Brain came in and forgot that you've been in the conversation for like hours. And then non-Streamer Brain came in and say, "Hey man, Wheezy Peasy's been here for a while, man." It's like, oh, oops. Streaming lowers the IQ. All right, Triangle Wave. That, I mean, I'm familiar with Triangle Man's game, but that's not it. Oh, this is loose. How do we... Oh, that's like... Okay, yeah. Okay, so that still's not a triangle wave. Ooh, it's a slow triangle wave. That's a slow one. What's the hertz on that? 0.8, oh yeah, or 0.2, yeah, it's a slow triangle. That's an LFO triangle. And then out of here, beep. 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 Okay, cool. All right, so that's what we get here. So let's go on and let's lock into the band pass, and we'll just do an initial check. We're going to look up like a video on this thing running just so that we know what it should do, because I don't know if I have troubleshooting resources on this thing, but I would like to know that this thing is actually functioning. So in the input, I am going to take our sine wave, our most reliable audio source, and I'm going to put that into in one. Whoa, bend the whole thing when I plug it in. Jeez. with it unfastened, the whole thing bent when I plugged that in. That was I wonder if I should be adding different potentiometers so that it can be held in a little bit more strongly. Maybe, perhaps, maybe. Hold on, I'm just getting the posts behind there because that'll kind of hold on to it a little bit more. Okay, so through our bandpass filter, turning in up and down, resonance just gets us that wave. Let's turn that down, and then there's, with less resonance, there is our sine wave. And let me turn the trigger down here. Oh, that's the wrong, I always hit the wrong control. Let's go back onto the center line. Oh no, that's vernier. What did I just turn on? What the heck? Fine off. Which one is my vertical position? There it is. And then that, I want to be centered. There we go. It is skewing a little bit towards the negative here. One of those jacks that plays the intro from Sandstorm. Wasn't the intro from Sandstorm a preset? Wasn't that a preset? Bum, ba-da-ba-da-ba. Bum, 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 bum. Didn't I bought like a specific device for adjusting potentiometers so that you didn't have to deal with that irritating thing where it like partially grounds when you start adjusting it. I don't know where it is. It's gone. It's gone. It used to be in here. It used to be in here. This used to be a playground. Used to be. Yeah, okay, I don't know where that... Maybe it's the bottom drawer, the cursed bottom drawer of soldering tools. It is not. No, no. What am I ever going to do with an adjustable wrench of this size? What would I ever do with a miniature... What would I do? It's like ridiculous. It's stupid. All right, I don't know what happened. At one point, I owned a tool that was a specific plastic adjuster for that sort of thing. And you could adjust to your little heart's content without affecting the... I I mean, there's this thing that I got from an estate sale, but this is just something that I think somebody made up. It's a little big. I guess we could use it in memory of the person who left me with all that stuff. So that seems to just be like the amplitude of the output. That's a shank. Well, may keep us safe in our worst times. That's adjusting something that I don't know. I do not know what the two adjustments are for. We may need to read the theory of operation from the actual PDF document from nonlinear circuits. From nonlinear circuits. The circus of nonlinearness. So in amplitude is that one. That's clear enough. And at max amplitude, we're at close to ±5, but we're kind of offset a little bit. What the hell is yellow doing? Yellow's plugged into the bandpass filter, and we're outputting one frequency. So when I limit the frequency, obviously it's going to affect my baby. It's going to affect the frequency that we're outputting. This is going to feel weird when it gets into the synthesizer because it's like kind of weirdly weak. And resonance, of course, just gives us this nonsense. Okay, so if I take my slow triangle wave and I put that into CV1, well, suddenly that offset us, and you can see the bandwidth. You can see it just going yoink, yoink. See that little pinch, that little amplitude pinch? So if I make it super sensitive to CV1, it should have more of an effect. Yeah, there we go. More of an effect. So input amplitude is here. I've got that turned all the way up. CV1, we've got a triangle wave coming in, and I've made it fully sensitive to CV1. The thing that always bugs me is that Julian always finds something wrong with the synthesizer modules that I make. And so what he did with some of these nonlinear circuits ones was he took a look at the plastic knobs that I soldered in, and he said, hey, why does the knob go in the opposite direction that it should? Because he's used to it going like up to the middle, whereas this one goes down to the middle. And I'm like, really, that's the thing that you're going to complain about? Whoa, whoa, blah, that was like a square wave. Whoa, 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 whoa. Calm down. Burp. Okay, it's doing cool filter stuff. So maybe with any luck, we can get it to do cool filter stuff. I'm going to hit it with a low to high signal into CV2. Holy shit. I wonder what that sounds like. That's going crazy. Wait, is that negative 12 volts? Yeah, we're like pinging it on negative 12. Let's bring it down a little bit here. I guess that's not output amplitude. I don't think any of this stuff is actually affecting it. Turn the resonance all the way down. Ooh. Oh, that's going to sound kind of neat. I wonder. I don't have an attenuator here. I have the attenuator over on the other rack. So whatever sounds we'd be getting out of this thing. I mean, we will plug it into the rest of my synthesizer. Let's test input 2. I don't know what in 2 is supposed to do. It looks like it's doing the same thing. So I'm going to guess input 1 and input 2 are going to kind of complement each other. Okay, so that's sort of that filter. Let's check the other one. This is, basic operation is me just testing that the ins and outs all work. That's essentially what we're trying to do right now. I mean, we've managed to make something that probably sounds really, really weird and cool, and I would love to listen to what that sounds like, but we will plug it into something a little bit better at creating waves now. Good stuff. So the only thing that I could really think that I would want to alter on this thing is drilling a screw hole, like right either in the middle or above these 4, because these front jacks are the only things that are connecting the whole circuit board to the front panel. If I tighten up the screws on the ends here, it might not be able to do this, but I don't like that. Why is it doing that? Because what I'm doing is I'm sending that wave is being sent into the input. Input 1 and input 2, I don't know what are the relationships between in 1 and in 2, just so I can tell you exactly why it's doing what it's doing. Or at least I can give you enough of an impression that will make me sound smart, because I actually don't know absolutely everything that's going on here. CV1 and CV2, one goes through the CV1 control, which is the 100K potentiometer. CV2 is just going through a mixing resistor. So those are just controlling this side of this comparator. So that's going to output a voltage level here, and then it will affect the frequency cutoff that is also controlled by this 100K pot. 100, so it's, the weighting of it is 100 to 150. There's a ratio going on right there. Let's get the scope, just move the scope for just a second. There's a ratio between 150 and 100. It's usually 100, 100, 100 is an even mixing of a bunch of things. So this one, the knob is doing a little less than the CV can. Can it filter this? No. Maybe if I hooked it up in the audio path. Then we have a frequency offset. I never understand how these work. So that goes through a 470K, which is somehow connected to the same line as the frequency. Weird. I guess it damps it or something like that. But it goes from plus to minus V, whereas this one goes from minus V to ground. That voltage level then goes into what is essentially a frequency filter, but it operates very weirdly. I think part of it is turning it into the amplitude, sorry, not amplitude, the amp domain, not amplitude, but how much like amps are running through instead of voltages. That's how this mixer works. So apparently that does something. I don't know. Is it doing something with sound? Yes, it's doing something with sound. And basically what it's doing is it's affecting a filter cutoff of frequencies that are above certain stuff. That is controlled through some series of what's-its. And I think it's these two right here. I have to still read about the theory of operation for this thing. I was confused enough by the diode ladder filter, but there are these tricks where if you turn things into the amplitude, amp domain, I don't know exactly what to call it. You turn it into the amp domain, and then you can use transistors to do weird stuff to it, because the transistors affect the flow of amps through things. I don't know. But okay, so the inputs, where are inputs going? In 1 and in 2 are getting mixed at an even ratio. So whatever I'm putting in, we're mixing it at an even ratio, and then our in 1 control can turn down in 1. In 2 just comes in at the same level every single time. The capacitor here deletes any kind of DC component that's on the waveform. So the waveform will be delayed by a phase that is affected by the time constant of 220 nanofarads. So there's equations that go into that dictate it. But the capacitor essentially, it blocks DC because DC waves are just the line, and the line can't get around those two plates. The wibbling wave, the up and down, can sort of work its way through. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. The charge plates, you end up charging and discharging the capacitor. And when you put a wave through a capacitor, it will still charge and discharge, but it takes time to do that. And so that will give you a phase offset on your wave as it charges and discharges the energy that's stored inside of the capacitor. So when you hit it with a DC element, the DC element does not get through because it doesn't do the discharging and the charging the same way. It's just how it is. Now, when you hit a capacitor with a DC voltage, T equals 0 at the very nanosecond when you hit it, it will act like a short circuit, but then it'll charge up with that DC potential, and it will end up, blocking the short. It will no longer be a short. That's what decoupling capacitors do for your digital systems. You put a decoupling capacitor in there, time equals 0, everything's short, nobody gets that voltage, the voltage charges up on the other side, and when the time constant expires and the capacitor is charged, it can no longer take in any more charge. It doesn't act as a short. And so full potential voltage fires through the thing straight into your electronics pooper. So we are comparing with ground, blah, blah, blah. And then it goes into this thing in the whatever other domain. That's weird that they don't have a converter in front of it. I guess maybe that's the way it works, but yeah, this stuff, the JFET stuff, I don't really understand all that well. But then our bandpass filter's coming down here, and then I guess we're going through another one of the amplifiers, and our low-pass filter comes out of that. Interesting. I got to read up on the circuit theory of this because I don't really fully understand. 100K trim pot sets your operating range of the frequency pot. No real rules here, just set it to the frequency pot is active for the full range from 0 to 10. You should find the range goes from sub-audio to some frequency only dogs can hear. I love nonlinear circuits, man. The 50K trim pot is to balance the CV. Actually, is it 50K trim pot? It's not. There was no 50K trim pot. Oh, the trim pot, right? No, that's sorry, that's on the back of the board. Is to balance the CV across the two OTAs. What is that? Best is to monitor the two outputs with an oscilloscope and set the trim pot so the BP and LP outputs are at the same amplitude. 50K shrimp pot. Delicious. OTA is the LM113700, so that's this. Voltage controlled mixer. Yeah, the transconductance, that's what I was looking for. Operational transconductance amplifier. Apparently transconductance is where you take it into amp domain is what I've been saying. Is that correct? I appreciate people who know more than I do coming in here and saying stuff because I've only recently learned about all this stuff. I am good at circuit analysis, but the analog audio stuff is like, what? So the 50K trim pot is to make sure that the amplitude across the two outputs are approximately the same. So let's check that. So right now our amplitude is there. If we go to the other filter, not quite. It's a little bit, one's a little bit hotter than the other one. So 50K. That ain't doing anything. Okay, let's try the other one. That looks a little less amplitude-y. Assume that these are nonlinear circuits, and so I can just be totally cavalier with this. Is this thing doing anything? Okay, so it's fine. That's totally working now. Dog, I'm basically just your average Joe surrounded by people who know what they're doing. I know, right? I know nothing. Don't mind me. Well, you know more than me. You know, I try to be professional. I try to know things, but sometimes we get out of my wheelhouse and synthesizers are out of my wheelhouse. I do know a little bit about these transconductance amplifiers because I've been trying to build a mixer for Julian, and then we just found one that works, that does the exact same job. So tuning up the resonance Q pot will get the module to self-oscillate. If you turn the pot too high, the signal clips. Turn to around 8 to 9 to get a nice sine wave. Do they mean like 8 or 9 out of 10 or 11? Operating range of the frequency pot. No real rules, just set the frequency pots active from 0 to... Okay, so that the frequency is set by the other one. The frequency on this, I don't know what we would necessarily be cutting off, but you know what? I think it's probably time that we plug this into the rest of the... Plug this into like a full synthesizer. So kill this. I'll keep the scope lead here, but I'll turn off the scope. And I'm going to bring over the big cabinet that Julian gifted me. I think I paid for one and then he gave me his other one. This is the one that I've built up. And this is where I bought this Synthrotech power distributor thing. And then Julian was like, don't buy from that again. don't get Synthrotech. And I was like, oh, okay. Apparently they went crazy. So yeah, we're not buying Synthrotech anymore. But I've already got it, so there was no returning it at that point. So let's put this aside. Oop, it's powered by USB-C. Put this all aside and let's get the full synth over here and see if you guys can help me use this synthahol. Synthahol? Wait a minute. That's not alcohol. All right, let's get this puppy over here. Is it plugged in? It is not. Oh, I've got the power cable coming out the side. Let's make sure to get that. I've got it kind of like cross-hooked with the 505, but I haven't been able to get anywhere near MIDI yet because the MIDI stuff on this thing is scary. Complicated. Yeah. All right. And then move you. Gotta make a little bit more room than this. You know, I can sit here all day, and I have, just building modules. And not even caring about what they do or how they work or how they affect my baby. But I feel like I should get in here and actually hook up the synthesizer and see what it do. What do? The problem is I need a little bit more room. The problem is I am completely out of room and I need to clean up a little bit more here. Everybody to the fringes. Tweezer's got to go back here. What else am I crushing? I am crushing it. We don't get the desk lights on this, but crime needs bolts. Crime needs bolts. Where are my bolts? Hold on, I got a collection of these things. I'm trying to get from one end of the shop to the other without like tripping over something and bashing my head in. And get all this stuff, and then I'll get the speakers as well. There's speakers as well. Okay, so screws, plugs. You guys get to listen to this through my through my little desktop speakers. Just because I don't trust the Focusrite at the moment, and I don't have a cable to go into the Focusrite. I'll work on that in the future. It's an easy thing. I just need to find the adapters. But I've got an attenuator on this, so we shouldn't like blast ourselves into space with the audio. I like how the last thing said in chat is just professionals, and that's just kind of lingering. I don't know if I count this as professional. Burp, burp, burp. Okay, so hastily powering and hooking this up. Oh, I need a wrench for the, where did it go? Hold on. We'll get there. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there, chat. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We gotta make it. We gotta make it. It's Friday. At a holiday. You are off, and so I'm gonna plug in my power. And here's these things. And this goes there. This goes here. Oh, I need power cables. We've got a couple power cables. Hold on a second. Let's get, how many? Crime already has power cable. Yeah, it does. Crime's going to be important because I don't have a lot of functionality on this. It'll help me bridge the gap and get some cool signals either in or out or do quantization or something. So, Crime. It's micro crimes and ornamentation. It's basically a Teensy 4.0 and an OLED screen. And it's basically, you know, I consider it to be the WarioWare of modular synthesizers. What this is able to do is all kinds of little like mini games almost, if you think about them like that. This is going to be for this down here. And then we got to put bolts into Crimes. My speakers don't get very far away from each other unless I undo that thing, but I don't think they really need to. Let's put them up here like that. There we go. Yeah, that's more like... Okay, one fell over. I fell over. Heal me. Fallen. Yeah, this one got all messed up with the bolt. This is why I need to have like plastic washers on them, because the bolt will twist the vinyl. But if I plug this thing in... Ooh. Okay, well, 3D printed panels are not that great, but that's my tip ring and shield. And then a bunch of farts from everybody. All right, let's get Crime situated. I bought like 1,000 of these little bolt. Ah, it's the wrong size. How's this one? Also the wrong size. I'm somewhere in between the two that I grabbed. Somewhere between the two that I grabbed, and hopefully we can make some noises on this thing that don't sound like farts, but there's no guarantees. It's probably mostly just going to sound like farts. And the fidelity is going to be somewhat lacking because you guys are listening to it through speakers. But this is kind of an initial test of my whole modular setup. I have not had the chance to do a full test of things, so we'll get to fart around with this thing and see what kinds of sounds we can make, and perhaps chatters will have some suggestions. A lot of these labels are getting messed up. A lot of my vinyl stuff. It's possible that I need to just cut 10 millimeters above everybody. That way, the bolts are only against plastic instead of against the vinyl itself, where it gets real thin. All right, you know, whatever you just set off, it had a motion detection. Your fart was so powerful that it made motion. All right, that's a step too far. All right, this one's going in here. Dog hair in my mouth for some reason. Cool. Cool. That was very cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. Just like fell. Get in there. I'm just kind of putting my filters separately to the right here because there's going to be another module there, and then I can figure out what kinds of spacers and stuff I want to finish it off with. I don't actually mind if there's an open, you know, an opening on this. I cannot be bothered with such things. So the question is, without any kind of a support here for the circuit board, is this going to feel... God damn it. Is this going to... Wait, what just happened? Oh, we're in an ad. An advertisement is running right now, so we'll wait. We will wait. That's probably what you guys are trying to... You were trying to warn me, and I just judged you. I'm so sorry. Try to loosen that so this can actually find a... Yeah, it found a thread. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to have to find a bunch of little plastic washers for these. It's like 50 of them. And we're waiting for everybody to get done with an advertisement. We've got 30 seconds left. And the advertisement light is on. It's doing well. It's alive and well and living in the front bedroom. Oops. Then it turned yellow? Oh, because you said idea and then you shut it off early. Yep, that's going to happen until I correct it. I put too many things on the bulb 1, so it doesn't know its status. It just knows when to send stuff. So that you know, we predicted that would happen. It just got a second off signal. That was that little red flash just then. Okay, so modular synthesizer. What do we got? A lot of stuff. Let me try to give you guys light so you can see what's going on. Give you focus. I have not turned this whole thing on all at once yet. There are a couple holes in it. One of them is going to be for another filter. I can probably block this off. Yeah, idea. The idea light still works. It works great. I've got a lot of different modules. Julian was kind of looking over it and figuring out what does what. We don't know if Clouds works. We weren't able to actually like test Clouds. I think it works, and I haven't put any alternative software on there. Tides has sheeps in it. I still don't know what Tides does. I think it just does kind of like waving between things. A lot of these, it's basically a toss-up between mutable instruments and nonlinear circuits. And those are two different module makers with two different philosophies. The things like Marbles creates sort of musical randomization. Things like Basics makes marching drums and only marching drums. CEM 3340 is not one of these mutable or nonlinear, but it's a pretty decently capable voltage-controlled oscillator using the CEM 3340 chip. Seed Studio Zhao module. This does not work. I need to reprogram this. It's supposed to be a voltage-controlled output. I think what I can do, either with this one or making this other circuit board that I have, turn this into some kind of a chat-controlled module. So we can have some kind of a control that I'll give you guys, you know, on a whatever, on a program. I got a button, I got an LED, I got all kinds of stuff on it. But we can make this something that you guys can actually control. That would be kind of cool. For now, though, it's just dead weight. It's just here. We're pretty much this ADSR. The BMC15 is a voltage-controlled amplifier. Brain Custard just makes random wibblings, and we've turned that into a very low frequency oscillator. Kinks just changes your positives and negatives and has a couple mathematical functions on it. I don't know Tides at all. Clouds might be broken. I have an output attenuator, and then the filter that we just built, the low pass and band pass filter. So I know it's called Kinks. You can't get around it. And then this is a MIDI to CV that we won't be using right now. The MIDI to CV, I could use a keyboard to play sounds, basically. So if I turn it on, presumably everything doesn't explode. That appears to be booting just fine. We got blinking lights from here. Marbleps is kind of doing blinking lights. Clouds. The freeze button works on clouds, so that means that clouds might be awake. Clouds might work. The Sirius filter has literally no indicator that we're powered on at all. But if I could use a couple more lights on this thing just to do general illumination, but my Marbles also has blue LEDs in it, but it appears that it's not doing anything right now for the output. That's probably my fault. Okay, so if we start with something that'll produce a bit of randomization. So on Marbles itself, boy, those labels could be above instead of below. This whole thing needs to be tilted in order for me to see what the hell's going on. So Deja Vu is how repetitious it is. Rate, slow it down, speed it up. I don't think half of my Marbles is dead. Biasing it. Times 4 times 1, or divided by 4 times 1. Yeah, okay. So we'll go to a normal range. That's the middle one. And then something is not, that's just how random it is. Something is not giving us, turn down Deja Vu. Okay, now that's not what we want. Somewhere around here, we'll start to get random, random movement from Marbles. But for right now, Marbles appears to be kind of stuck. So I'm trying to determine which control I really need to be hitting on this. Oh, that almost peeled up. Some of these labels are not as stuck on there as I would like them to be. That's bad. I guess the vinyl isn't quite as sticky as I thought it was. That's not good. Means all my stuff is going to come off eventually, and I'll be SOL again. I was going to try to get a printer, like a 2D printer, and modify the print bed so that it would be linear, and then I could put panels of either plastic or carbon fiber or whatever through it, and what they would do is actually print color labels with an ultraviolet curing ink. Because that's a thing. That's a thing that exists. It's kind of cool. Why is this like locked? Did that do it? No. So that's plus minus 2 volts. That's 5 volts. And that's 0 to 5 volts. So plus 2, plus minus 5. But then I have it on a little bit of random, turn the rate way up, and nothing's happening. Is there something wrong with my Marbles? No, Julian was using it just the other day. So I don't understand what's going on here. It appears like it's frozen. Do I need both of these active? No. Appears like it's frozen, and yet I've got Deja Vu up and down. This up and down. See, with Marbles and basics, I can create like drums, but it just sounded like brass marching band drums. Deja vu. I've just been in this place before. Yeah, nothing appears to be letting it activate, and maybe it's just my own understanding of how this thing works. If I give it a clock signal, where am I getting a clock signal from? Let's see. Well, crimes could potentially produce a clock signal. This might be able to. Input split. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, the labels are all crappy on some of these. These are the different tap modes, I suppose. Is there another tap on this? No. And then brain custard is wibbling away. It's showing that. But why are these? These are like locked in. I don't think it needs... This can create the clock source, I thought. But none of my knobs is doing anything that I think they should. And random isn't even random on it. Feels like something happened. Hold on, I'm going to turn us off and turn us back on and see if that fixes itself. Haha! It was in some kind of a weird state. So now it's blinking. Yeah, I thought I needed a clock or trigger, but this thing can create those clock signals, and that's what it's doing kind of now. It apparently was, I don't know, something froze it. Julian was running into a problem where his marbles was freezing too. I don't know if it's my fault or what. Usually is. Okay, so that's the rate. Super fast, decent, bop, 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 bop. Good, good. All right, so let's hook up something where we can actually listen to this stuff do things. Yes, the IT solution is the master fix-it key for all of this stuff. I need red and black, or red and white. So ring here, going to, and do we want to mix these? I guess I'm going to put them into the attenuator for right and left there. Where'd the red wire go? I had a red wire. Oh, it's over here. It's kind of more pink than anything. I think I had an actual red wire, but I don't know where it went. So we'll just do tip is red. Let's... Burp, 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 burp. You can kind of hear that on the speaker. Time to design custom panels on PCBs. That looks too good. We're a little bit more camp here. Now, the fact that freeze shows up makes me wonder if I'm actually... Ooh, I think clouds might work, depending on if I can get anything to come out of the volume. That might be good, because this will give us stereo attenuation. But for now, we want to actually listen to our Sirius filter. So I think I want right and left to be mixed up together. I don't know how I'd do that. I don't know how I'd do that on my own setup. I'll figure that out in a minute. Okay, so left and right channels are hooked up. Maybe we'll just listen to it on one speaker. Yeah, I just mentioned the label. Well, the labelers look good enough, but yeah, I would love to be able to put it on real panels. All right, so CEM3340 is probably able to blow up this entire house. I am going to hook some kind of a variable control voltage. We'll take X2, which is this one right here, out of marbles, which is pretty much randomly. You can see it going from, what do you call it? It's going from plus to not so plus, it seems. And if I put that into a control voltage on the VCO, control voltage mod, so CV, and we take a look at the output on the scope so that we don't blow our ears up. Take it as a pulse triangle, see triangle. There's our audio triangle wave. Speed it up. Where is it? Or that's just straight up noise. What's going on? Hey, CEM3340, what's going on here, bud? Hey, bud. That should look like an audio. Wow, okay, something weird. There's maybe something wrong with more than one area of my synthesizer. What does that sound like? See, the sine wave looks any different? No. Okay, what does it sound like? This is gonna blow up my face. Here we go. I'm gonna blow up my face. Get the scope out of here. Hide the scope. There's no attenuation on this, so it's gonna be full volume. Okay, turn it up. Hello, aliens. It is I, your leader. Okay, so that is actually working. Oh, that's phase, I see. Very glorp indeed. Yeah, gleep glorp. Welcome, home planet. There's nothing on that channel. So that's what Marbles is doing, right? It's creating various voltages that go into this thing. If I wanted those to be musical voltages, I could probably put it into Crimes and quantize it. Is that a DH804? What? It's a CEM 3340? I don't speak the language. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so right now I have unattenuated notes that are coming out of Marbleps. And I can do various, you know... That's all well and good. And I can actually pan it back and forth. I have pan control on this. I'll have to figure out how to use that later. I'm not as well versed. Oh, the Rigel, it's a DH Show 914. I wouldn't suggest going... Okay, hold on. Shut the hell up. I wouldn't suggest going out and getting the 914 that I bought. I bought it because it's supposed to be logic analyzer capable. The problem is you need a $400 thing, or it's like $100 or $200. I forget. It's an expensive thing to plug in to do logic analysis, or you can make your own LVDS adapter in order to do logic analysis. And I'll have to do that eventually. That's going to be a project that we'll do at some point. But so I went out and got that scope immediately, and I spent almost $1,000 on it, and then the price dropped. I'm sure the price is back up now just because of, you know, everything. But yeah, the price drop was kind of annoying because I spent too much on it. All right, that into one of our channels. And then I'm going to put a CV on that, a control voltage on that, that is coming from Insano Land. Actually, we'll do this output, which is Brain Custard. Brain Custard is currently doing weird stuff. We can take a look at what Brain Custard is doing. I want to remind myself. So if I take blend and I turn these up. Okay, Brain Custard is broken. Low, mid, high. These are the control voltages. Just turn those all the way up. And why does Brain Custard not? Oh, wait, no, here we go. Up and down, up and down. That's the mix. Oh, so if we fully mix all three of these, and I adjust this a little bit, there we go. Now we're getting custardy. Brain Custard is just this wild ride. It does crazy things. It does crazy things, and then we put crazy capacitors on it. And so we get Crazy Frog on the output. I don't think we want to know what that sounds like in the... Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Hold on. And put you into this channel from just a triangle wave. And then I'm going to give you to the custard. I hear nothing. Triangle wave going out, second channel. There you go. Yeah, isn't that a crazy waveform? It's slow. Yeah, it's doing insane stuff with... That's crazy. It's too much. Stop it. calm yourself. Jeez. Okay, so that's what Brain Custard can do. We'll go back to the weird but what if I let that control the amplitude of the output to here? Sounds like shit. It sounds like shit. It's just going. Custard is a little too custardy. Also, they're not synced in any meaningful way, so it's a little weird. Okay, anyway, yeah, this thing can control multiple things and keep them in sync with each other. Marbles. Everything kind of starts sounding like marbles, though, eventually. So let's slow down marbles. So now we just get... You guys can hear that okay, right? You can... Okay. You can hear that way in the background. So now I want to put it through the filter. So let's take that. We don't have anything doing amplitude right now. I'm going to leave that out just for now. Try to give you guys a better view. The one light that I have on this thing, I probably should just move it, but then everything looks really washed out. So we do need to have some light on this. I'll try to figure out a better way to display all this at some point. This is just very sort of makeshift, get it done kind of stuff. So, all right, let's take that output and let's put that into the input of our new Sirius filter. And we'll take the bandpass filter, put that up here. I hear nothing. Ah! Oh, God! Yeah, the resonance is, that's rough, buddy. Ah! You guys are lucky that you're going through my microphone with its compressor. So I've managed to make something that goes blah, 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 blah. Stupid. It's so stupid. Well, that actually does kind of cool stuff to it. Make it a little less musical. Actually, no, that makes... the deja vu makes it repeat the structures. This makes it more or less random, I believe. What is this? Yeah, greater range. Well, I'm glad Brain Custard, or sorry, Marble. Ah! Okay, who asked you to do that? It's kind of amazing that musicians can make this sound good. It is indeed. Why did the amplitude suddenly blow my face up? Why did you do something like this? Why would you do this? Put it into the other CV and see what happens. Dialing up with my yeah, all the furniture is gonna start floating or something. I'm gonna have to look up synthesizer topographies and kind of get this a little better so I can see what I can do with this thing. Maybe talk to Julian a little bit, because this thing currently it's trying to contact the president over teletype. All I'm doing is making these random beep boop beep bop bop bop. Actually, that one's kind of cool. Ah! Now, what if we go in? Okay. Why is there still audio coming out? I know none of you are plugged in. Oh, we're going in through here. I think I have the voltage range set a little crazy. What if we take the custody? I think Brain Custard is a means by which to non-musicalize all of your outputs. it turns whatever the hell is going on over here into something not exactly musical. This is Radio Free Europe. Welcome in today, whatever you are. I gotta get plastic washers on these things because all of these screws are starting to kind of harass the edges of my my panels. All right, so the Sirius filter appears to be working. I don't have a complex soundscape to give to the Sirius filter, but it appears as though it is doing stuff. We can affect the output and we can do like a cutoff on it. I want to see what Clouds does. So in order to run Clouds, first of all, shut up. Second of all, I need my right and left channel to go into out right and out left. Oops, that's actually the left channel. That should be a white wire. Well, it's whatever. I don't have one. So out, what is it? The ring is left. Am I correct about that? Probably not. Out left, out right. Bring those to equal value. Attenuation. So this is what's making it so that my speakers don't blow up. These are very high voltages for consumer electronics. I know things are like weird and a little bit out of focus just because I only have one light on this thing right now. That's just making things look a little funky and kind of hard to see. I'll work on getting a setup where this looks a little better. Not to say that I would actually be able to make musical audio out of it by virtue of it being, you know, in focus properly, but at least it would be a little bit more pleasant for you guys. I've got all these modules and I don't know what half of them do. I mean, Tides does something, but it's got the Sheep's firmware in it, and I don't even know. Did I plug it in? It's not plugged in. Are you plugged in? Hold on, I'm gonna get an electrocute. I'm gonna electrocute myself doing this. Oh, Tides isn't even plugged in. Okay. Clouds is the one that I don't know whether or not it works. This is supposed to be some kind of a filter. There's an in left and an in right. I don't know how to split my ins so that I have two. I mean, I could split them here, try doing that, but then our in left or in right, I think I can just plug in one of them. So if we're going and I skip the amplitude thing and I just go into the left channel, what's going to happen? Oh, but am I actually making anything? That should be outputting something. So the question is, can I get anything to output from Clouds? The answer is no. Don't forget to break a couple of modules so you can get Julian to fix them. There you go. Oh, how the tides have turned. What if we just touch tips? Only for just a minute. Yeah, there's audio coming out of this. Do we need a trigger of some kind? If we need a trigger, I can trigger using this guy over here. Okay, complex things are indeed happening, but I don't know if my stuff has been properly connected. It looks like we are getting stuff in. Those LEDs changed color. Blend, 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 blend. This is with in-gain turned all the way up. I think there may still be troubles with clouds. And clouds may still not quite work. I would have been able to hear left and right output. Clouds may need something a little bit more complicated working on it. Yeah, I don't know. This may still be broken. I don't know if the main DAC in that thing is actually functioning properly. There may be a test mode that I can put onto it, but Clouds I think is effectively broken. Sirius filter works. Take a triangle wave. Triangle man, triangle wave. Put it into any of the ends. Let's do the one that we can control the attenuation on, and we can take our output band pass. Let's do a low pass on that and put it into one of our stereo channels on the attenuator. That'll be the left channel. So there's all kinds of crazy noises coming out of that. And we can attenuate it with this. We don't have a control voltage coming in right now. And then we can do the resonation until things get crazy. Ah. That would be more audible. It sounds like I'm trying to make the intro to Doctor Who. Wee doo 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 doo. So yeah, I'm gonna have to learn this stuff a little better, huh? Gate trigger out and then other out. So if I take something like this and I put it into gate. Ooh, that clicked a little late. Or sorry, I put it into trigger. What would the gate signal be on that? Well, this thing doesn't appear to be doing anything. That's supposed to create a voltage level that I can put into here. And then this output here would go into our filter and it do nothing. I don't know if I need to give it a gate signal. I don't know if I can reach a gate signal. So turn the attack up, turn the decay way down. Why is ADSR not working? Did I not plug it in? I mean, I should be seeing something happening there because I'm sending it 250 million pulses of gate at once. And this thing's turned all the way up, and we know the BCM works. So my ADSR might be... This is a nonlinear circuits, by the way. This is a nonlinear circuits that I was too stubborn to actually put, like, through-hole devices in, and it didn't work, and so I took them all out and put in through-hole devices, and then it worked, supposedly, but now it doesn't. I'm starting to wonder if I didn't plug it into power, because I thought we got this one working. I thought we were working on this the other week. Okay, well, I got some stuff that I need to do, huh? I don't know, does kinks work? Let's check let's check in on our kinks. That appears to be working. That appears to be working. Sample and hold. Trigger. Don't know if sample and hold is working. Logic seems to work. So if I take in A and in B, in A, in B, and I take the max function of A and B. Oh, that was the wrong one. A and B, and then I take... It's a simple party game. You split the room into teams A and B, and Team B are the winners. Take that, and we'll just put that into our filter. All that kinks does is just kind of screw up the signal. It takes the greater of the two and sends it out. Why do I feel like my camera keeps going out of focus? So far I can make just kind of messed up fart noises. Pretty much. Living the dream. Theremin module. It's kind of what I need. Now, crimes and ornamentation. What I can do is select either the right or the... Because right now I've got it with hemispheres. This is very distracting. Hey, can you, Shush. Oops, that was the wrong one. Oh my god. Okay, we'll come back to you. Crimes and ornamentation. I've got hemispheres on this, which means the right and left side are two different hemispheres, and they are affected by the trigger inputs, the CV inputs, and then the outputs down here. So if and why is this out of focus again? God, it really feels like I've got like a dirty lens and it's out of focus. It's just because I've got one single light source hitting this thing, and then the face light is providing like this weird sort of halo light. The lighting is all wrong for this thing right here, but whatever. So I can select a hemisphere, and then I can select what the module does, and there's all kinds of different things that this does, and I have no idea what they do. I don't know. I just don't know. Look, what is that? The sequencer 32. That's a scope. Schmidt trigger. Scale duet. Well, let's see what that does. So let's give that something to chew on. And I'll give it two things to chew on, actually. And then what happens to the output at that point? Well, I can turn this one to the scope. Pigeons. Probability, LFO, scale 1, scope. And we can see what this one's doing. So it looks like it's turning them into pulses, but I don't see anything happening on the front panel here. What about you? What's your other output doing? Okay, so that appears to be like possibly sounds that'll sound cool. Let's see what happens if I put the triangle wave into this thing. Well, it's not exactly Toby Fox. It really just made something that goes bum bum bum. It sounds like shit. Yeah, okay. So I can make all kinds of farting noises. This is why I get Julian in here to do this stuff, so... Because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. What does the other one sound like? That would be... It's going... And then going... Dit, 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 dit. Dit, 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 dit. It sounds like the computers in Fallout. What a ripoff. I wonder if that's down to what this thing is doing, or if it's something that I am messing up. Or if this is supposed to be triggering an ADSR. That actually might be what it is. So what if I take that and I put it into... Well, okay, that might not be powered. It doesn't work. No! I'm wondering if that trigger is on every note press so that my two CVs are coming in and controlling those and changing the nature of what the output is. And if I had a working ADSR, then I could trigger the ADSR using that, and it would make an envelope for the different notes that are playing and make them sound a little better than just random beep boop beep bop bop bop. It would actually sound like do 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 do. Like it would actually sound like a thing. So yeah, I got some work to do with this thing. I don't know what any of this does. I'm like that I think you should leave sketch. I don't know what any of this does. Dear God. What else? Who else has a trigger that I can just randomly... Maybe we can make a feedback loop. Clock. That's its own clock feeding back into it. I think that's a little too... It sounds cool though. I don't know what you guys are hearing versus what I actually have at my disposal right now. It seems like, you know, if I actually got this to work and if my ADSR was functioning, I don't know what's going on with that. I can't really get back there. Yeah, I can't reach back there. I'm gonna have to undo all 4 screws. If I get the ADSR running, maybe it can make something that sounds a little better than just like random notes. Or if we get, if I do, maybe I can do a collab. Who's the person you guys were telling me about that does, modular? They've got tons of modules, and they got all the modules, and the modules do the module things to the modules, and then these modules hook up to these modules, and then these modules make this module do this thing, and these do that thing, and then this module goes around with the modules, and it... Okay, let's see if we can find like a... Sid Heresy. There it is. Thank you. That's all I needed. Just the start of it. TL Neuro. What is that? Well, let's send our trigger here into TL Neuro. Why did that affect it? Okay, and then see if the output of TL Neuro does anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I think TL Neuro needs more than one output. Okay, TL Neuro has no idea what it's doing. Let's move on. Tuner goes in left. That's doing weird stuff. There we go. Oh my god, it went pop. I mean, that does sound kind of cool, so that's doing some kind of an envelope. It's like, whatever. Oh my god. The utter and complete lack of compression is getting to me. I probably need to put a compressor on this thing, and if we wanted one, I could hook it up to the Focusrite input, and that would have a compressor on it. Because the volume of this thing goes from nothing to kill you. Ow. I need these sounds in my life. Not that. I spoke too soon. What? There we go. Something is making this thing bug out. Exactly. My fart sounds are more advanced than you could possibly imagine. Jeez. I hope this isn't too loud for you guys. I have not done the sound. If you guys could hear that. Yeah, the whichever random that shows, I think it was like 7. I should not interact with you guys in that way in any way. I do not want to memorize which of my random farts are which. I had to sit there and I had to time all of the farts so that the farts wouldn't run into the other farts. This is the Teensy 3.0 creating quite a bit of heat inside of my module here. It does, when it hits, it goes boink, brink, brink, brink. You guys can't hear it, and I don't want to turn it up too much. I'm actually going to switch to this one. I need a GIF of, or a PNG with transparency of jingling keys. All right, when I switch modules, this is going to get loud. Oh, look, an actual functional ADSR. See, look at that. So, okay, in just using this, I'm noticing that's not good. I don't like that. Although it is pretty stable, like pushing on it. These get more stable when you've got the 2 anchors. So I'm gonna have to look into anchoring it up here a little bit more, but I don't know how I'm gonna do that because there's the power connectors right there. No more Pong. Yeah, I know. It was, I mean, it did cool stuff every time it hit the corner. Pigeons? So I'm not getting any audio. Except I can kind of hear something happening there. What's coming from there? Let's go bandpass. And then How's that one doing? That's a little better. It's still very quiet, and I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm concerned about how quiet that is. I don't want to blow up my face. I mean, I can hear some cool stuff going on. Man, YouTube has my historic names. The second egg. Do not go out into the hellscape. It's 105. Holy shit. I was looking at the thermal imager. Look at this. That looks horrible. We're sitting in my basement playing with my synthesizer. Come twiddle my knobs. Whoa. What just did that? Serious Filter, are you okay? Why did you suddenly go blah? I'm looking at Crimes, because Crimes is like the WarioWare of modules. It's like the WarioWare of synthesizer modules, in that it's got a lot of different little mini games, quote unquote. It's the Apocalypse Vision. Yeah, it's super hot out, man. Now that's an interesting one. I think that's some kind of a... Oh. Beep, 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 beep. I'm getting close. I can feel it in my bones. Somewhere in here, there's an audio signal. Yeah, I think this is only outputting... I don't know what this one's doing. It is feeding into this, though. I think this is the start of a Basement Jaxx song. We don't have any CVs going into this, so what happens if I do this? Ew, bad things. The problem is my audio is so very low right now, and it's not by virtue of... Whoa! Why did it go... Ah! 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 Sounds like a bag of mice. Yeah, in a washing machine. Ugh. Does the actual audio and control signal run in the same voltages? They're all tolerant of each other, so I can just plug whatever I want to whatever I want. I can just do, I'm gonna do this. No consequences. Ha 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 ha. I do whatever I want. There we go. I think we'll be able to finally communicate with those aliens. Hello, it is I, Glorp. I am here to communicate with your species. There's a lot of cool noises going on in the background, but every now and then this thing decides to punch you in the face. Okay, turn off the resonance. That's what was doing it. Beep bop bop. Hello, it is I. You have been selected. Slow it down. Oh no, this is right. Beep beep blah 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 blah. So yeah, eventually you can make blooping noises. No promises. Oops. My blooping! I have no fucking clue what's going on right now, guys. Let me be honest with you. I mean, if we put a beat behind that, we could be onto something. This can put a beat behind it. Let's okay, let me take my channel here, turn this down a little bit. That is okay, that's coming here. So I take this, take it into like one of these. Kind of want it to be a snare though. And this is supposedly going drum, but although I'm not giving it anything to trigger it, so here, and we set that into this trigger. Nah, it doesn't really meet up with what we're outputting. Oh, there's an ad running. Well, that's kind of cool. Weird things happening. Oh, I messed it up. All this is doing is outputting like a little fart noise out of that one, and I guess I can change it with the... That's essentially, yeah. I don't know if you guys can really hear what's going on. Yeah, it is just fart noises. I should make the fart noise module. I gotta work on basics a little bit. Basics has a lot of interesting features to it. None of this is really doing anything. That's on tap mode. Envelope mode? No, this is drum. Okay, so now we've actually got drums. Supposedly this is making drum noises, but I can't hear them. Turn that down, turn this up. Come on, drum noises, where are you? Presumably, you're going into that channel. I'm just not getting anything out of this. I had... Oh, wait, there was something. Very quiet. I think these are just how sensitive it is to the CVs, which I'm not controlling at the moment. No, it's not really doing anything. Although I do see something coming out of the output, it's not coming back through any perceivable audio channel. What? Oh. That would be the ad break being over. Nothing of consequence was actually discovered during the during the break. I'm just having a little trouble with my basics module because it's in a weird mode. Supposedly I can get drum noises out of this thing, and I have in the past. I just don't know what You know, these should be clipping, because you can hook marbles up to the 2 bass and snare drum, and that's what gave me like marching band music. So while this thing is going me, I could potentially put something behind that. Because like supposedly something's happening there, but I'm not outputting anything meaningful. Oh, is that because that was offset? Ah! Okay, we're being exposed to radiation at the moment. That's a little better. Yeah, so that's doing something. I mean, it's like the beep is a little annoying now. I don't know what to do about it though. Handling. It's like out of tune too, that's the other part. I don't think I'm really adjusting anything. You guys probably can't really hear this. When does it drop on Spotify? All it's doing is going thud, thud, thud. And there's probably a cymbal crash that I could add to that, but that's a little crazy. All right, well, anyway, yeah, so apparently Serious Filter does work, although it can blow your face off. But if I wanted to add that to everything as a meaningful input, I could attenuate it. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. So it doesn't blow us up, and it makes cool noises. Actually, that does sound a lot cooler. You guys are listening to this through my microphone, which has its own frequency filtering on it. Almost feels like I should be putting it into the mixer first. Here. And then that needs a longer one. Do a low pass filter on that. And then that output will go to a single channel if we keep it mono. We'll do the top adjustment. And then bring these back. Oh, the mix output all the way up. Almost. I can almost hear stuff going on. Why is it so quiet? There we go. Well, that's everybody incorporated together, but we lost a lot of our signal in there somehow. I don't know what dropped it. Ah, because that one was way overdriven, that's why. Glorp. Bleep glorp. It is a series of fart noises, it really is. With a loosely associated rhythm. So what if I change some of the fundamentals here? Well, now I got a lead singer. The beat isn't really gonna go with that. Jesus Christ. I think I have a lead singer. Holy shit. It's only happening when it goes positive. We just get a little woo. Jesus Christ. This does some weird stuff, you guys. I don't know what this is doing. Frankly, I do not know what that control voltage into Duo Tet is controlling at all. Just by like tweaking these a little tiny bit, I get... Ah! Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, I've had enough. Welcome to making fart noises and similarly sounding fart noises. I'll try to make pleasant fart noises in the future, but for right now, my initial foray into the modular synthesizer world has mostly involved communication with Glorp. Thank you guys for joining me. I lost like a third of the viewers just by, you know, playing around with this thing. So obviously not an incredibly popular thing to do, but it was fun to play with. Hey, welcome to Normal Visuals. Do your eyes feel unfocused? Because mine do. Looking back at a normal camera view, things seem a lot better. Again, the synthesizer itself is blocking the primary source of light in here, which is why things are kind of weird and sort of blown out and unfocused. We got this thing working where Glorp, we've got Glorp, you know, Glorp has been called. We definitely, I mean, how can you not Glorp when you're gleeping like this? Where's Glorp? Hello, Glorp? Glorp? There's Glorp. See? Like a little bit, yeah, it's got a little bit of gleep, but if we really want to gleep it up, there he is. Good to hear from you again, Gleep and Glorp. I don't know. 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 Help. 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 Everything's out of what's going on? Why is it? I don't know what's... All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I think we're done for the day. That was a little weird. If you guys had like an audio feed in, you would be able to hear like the full breadth of the weird noises that I was making, but the speakers were not giving us the full story, and the microphone was keeping you guys safe. That kept you guys from exploding. I don't know if I remember to do the admin command, but I think the next stream is probably going to be on Tuesday. I might do a weekend. I haven't decided yet because I didn't go on Tuesday, but I think things are a little busy around here. People are trying to figure out what to do with themselves, and so I think they're going to need me to be around a little bit, just so that they're not thinking that they're always catering towards what I want, which is a quiet place to stream. I will, you know, be under the firing line if I'm not careful about that. So I am going to right now set the admin thing to be Tuesday. And in the meantime, my not so pleasant gleeps and glorps coming out of that synthesizer perhaps can get more pleasant under the tutelage of Julian. I think maybe going and visiting Julian, getting a haircut, getting my car inspected and all that stuff, so that I can actually get back on the roads and then be a presentable and non-caveman looking individual. I will then talk to Julian and we'll see if we can actually make noises that don't curdle milk, because those were some milk curdling noises that we were able to make. So tentatively 3 hours, 20 days, and 500 billion years. And then in the meantime, in the background, I'm going to be working on some of the other stuff, and we'll come back wherever I am and continue on from there. I'm trying to kind of clear some stuff out. I'm trying to get Julian sated on my ownership of an actual synthesizer. So I'm trying to get this just barely working enough so that I can, for like a couple months, just say, I'm done. I'm done with synths. This thing works. I'm going to practice with it. I'm going to learn the 505 in the background. And then we can bring back in Burn the Subs, because we're starting to get a lot of that Node-RED functionality fleshed out. I've got something for advertisements coming up on the screen. We can get all that stuff worked out, and we can start wiring Burn the Subs. That's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a lot of stuff that I want to get done, and then I want to move the drag chains up to the top. So there's a little bit more hardware to do. We've got the control panel where I want it. The power supply is silent, which I'm happy about. The previous Vicor power supplies that I'd used for my own computer projects would make like a screeching noise when there's no current draw. Turns out the one that I bought directly from Vicor that was a full power supply module, I plug that in with no load on it and it's silent. So I don't know what I'm not doing, but oh, make glorp noise PSU. No. Sometimes glorp becomes background noise. I don't know. I don't know the fate. I gotta see what this thing is capable of, because it's not a full synthesizer. I don't know why my ADSR didn't work, because that could have done a lot of the enveloping around some of those beep boop bop 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 beep beep bop bop would have sounded like do 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 do. It's much more pleasant when you get an envelope on things. So I don't know what's going on with that. I need to learn a bit of this stuff and probably tune some things and make sure that the stuff I built months ago is okay. And then I gotta put plastic washers on these things, because the vinyl is being displaced by the bolts on it. I got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of stuff to do in the background. And then maybe we can make something that sounds like less than terrible noise. Anyway, let's just drop in and check if there's anybody doing anything in particular on Twitch. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Slab, thank you for hanging out this time. And thanks for everybody that helped me out with some of the weird stuff that was going on. Feed the Pit, nah. Kerbal Space, Roba's still doing Kerbal Space Program if you guys are interested. And let's see, Garrick Durock. Again, Garrick Durock, I should probably throw a shout out to him. Pendleton Ward, if you're interested in the creator of Adventure Time, you can check out Pendleton Ward. It's all one word, and it's just a stream. He doesn't really talk. He's very shy, but he does his art, and he's making like some kind of a game, I think in some 3D program. It's interesting to watch if you need something in the background that's not gleep and glorp noises. And Carhole is playing Daisy. So you guys can choose where you want to go. You're adults. You're adults, right? You guys are on this platform. Anyway, I will catch you guys at the latest on Tuesday. Until then, I'm on Discord. You guys saw the link fly by. I will catch you all some other time.